I love these tournaments because like it is a good point for camaraderie, right? Like
Oh, of
everybody kind of
course.
gathers around the SotN bonfire, and
We got
it's good.
stories to share. We got ups and downs, you know.
Yeah, we get to
Sometimes gamble.
commiserate with the losers, and
I mean, because at the end of the day, only one person does get to win the tournament, and we are here at the finals, day one. So as of right now, this is a best of 5 match as opposed to the best of 3s that have been happening up to this point, right?
that's right.
Gotcha. So we're guaranteed to see every preset then, right?
We are not guaranteed to see every preset because if one of our racers takes it in 3-0, then we don't get to see the last 2 presets. If
Of course.
it 3-1, we get to see all but one. So.
That makes sense. For if they were, here's a question. Let's say Racer A loses a match in like Aperture. Are they able to counterpick Aperture, basically run it back without the opponent being able to? Oh, so it's once it's seen, it's donezo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once a particular seed or preset has been seen in a match, it's banned.
Gotcha. Yeah, for all those that don't know, this tournament structure is designed to showcase a lot of the newer stuff that has happened in the SotN Randomizer in the last like year or so. So it's going to be a constant switch up between different presets. This is kind of like the tiebreaker / RPS / coin flip to determine who gets to pick / ban the first preset. So it's kind of like a neutral starting zone, which is the boss rush preset, where we're going to be seeing all of the bosses fought back to back. There's a couple of Easter eggs, a couple of secrets hidden along the way. We'll see if these players showcase any of that stuff here today.
Yeah, we see I think it's Drac up top. He's going for Wolf here, and he's going to go immediately for this dive kick off of the bats. He's going to go try to grab Gravity Boot.
That makes sense, yeah. So this preset is full of a lot of different Easter eggs that showcase different, you know, you can help. What's the word? I guess as you explore the boss rush, it's a pretty limited map that you're given. But as you explore it, you end up finding different niche things around, like Gravity Boots, for example. You know, something that requires a little bit of critical thinking to get to.
Yeah, you know, basically when we were creating the preset, we were like, well, you know, the players won't get to see most of the castle, right? So what can we incorporate to kind of make it its own mode, right? Like this is the arcade mode for SotN, technically. So we were like, oh, well, we can just add little Easter eggs here and there. You know, we got a whole bunch of code that's not being used because the rest of the castle is kaput. So,
yeah. That is one of the nice things about axing, you know, the majority of the game is you got room to throw stuff in there.
Exactly. So here we see Deirdre is going for Form of Mist at Castle Entrance. Meanwhile, Renanchal is heading on to face off against the first boss without getting missed. I guess he's going to be looking for that ice brand in order to be able to get there.
I mean, if you're getting the Gravity Boots, why get the Thrust Sword? That's my question.
Yeah, I don't understand where he's going with that. Like, what would Flight offer you in this position, right?
Yeah, especially early, because the Gravity Boots alone is enough to get to this room that has the ice brand. I always feel a little bit sus about going for this strategy. Obviously, you know, this is like a tiebreaker format kind of thing. Like, you know, winning here doesn't actually give you a certified point that could lead towards the end of the game. Even picking up the Spirit Orb for the fans. Like,
yeah.
Renan just, you know, finding things his own way. But for now, we got Ice Brand for both players, which is a decent starting sword. Like, it's pretty much fine versus everything. It's above average, I would say.
Yeah, Ice Brand is fine versus most things. It's really good against Cerberus.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as good as Holy Sword in the same bracket, but it is a decent weapon. So
yeah, and the extra exploration Deirdre does have him be a little bit behind here, but I'm now just wondering, is there anything up above Sagar and Gaibon in that room? It just teleports you out as soon as you try and leave, right?
That room just teleports you out.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Being that there are about 11 Easter eggs in the preset, we've actually only ever seen on stream players accessing upwards of 10 of them. There is one Easter egg that I have never seen a single player actually access still.
Gotcha. Yeah. One of the nice things that, you know, gives some replayability to Boss Rush here, even though it's a relatively simple preset, but it honestly serves a fantastic purpose in a thing like this, you know. Most like top level players are going to be able to finish this in like 15 to like 17 minutes, assuming nothing catastrophic happens. So it's a relatively short preset, and you get to see all sorts of different, strategies of killing these bosses. Because Symphony of the Night isn't a game known for its incredible combat mechanics and super in-depth boss fights or anything like that. Most of the time, like Crossmon, for example, what were they thinking, dude? Just like
Now,
programming the boss to just like instantly get stun locked as soon as you hit it.
Here we saw Deirdre. He decided to go over and grab the $5,000 chest. Meanwhile, Renantral opting not to do that.
Yeah, because at the very end, there is the shop that you can, try and get some extra stuff from, so.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was Renantral who was getting the $5,000 chest, while Deirdre did not get it.
Okay,
but,
and that's why they're evened up at this point. That makes sense. Yeah. Eldritch, he mixed it up, but we're all good. It's all good.
I just need to remember who's on top.
And
I love these fist strats.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Deirdre doesn't take the Ice Brand off. It's a much more consistent fight if you use fists, but, to each their own. And just like that, Deirdre takes the lead.
Deirdre, absolutely an insane player, demonstrating mucho skill in this entire ordeal.
No, Deirdre, you missed a check. What are you doing? It could be anything. I mean, at this point, Deirdre is going for one of the secret, Easter eggs that exists in there's no other reason why you would get missed, so.
Yeah. The basic thing is that a lot of Easter eggs were included as shoutouts to the rest of the Castlevania series, or shoutouts to individual players, such as the Ice Brand existing in the entrance area. That was a shout out to Jupiter Climb. Somewhere hidden within the preset is the Sword of Brawn, which was a shout out to Dragon Blitz. We also have the sword card here. Zorlo is hanging out, guarded by the Lesser Demon. And as he streaks across the screen, that was a shout out to myself, because I really like Zorlo.
Yeah, the sword card familiar is decent as a familiar, but the thing that takes it over the edge definitely is when you don't actually use them as a familiar, in my opinion. It's when you actually have access to the sword itself, which I'm pretty sure Deirdre, is attempting to equip right here. The sword familiar sword itself. It's like, you never see it in a normal playthrough or like a speedrun or anything like that, because it just takes too long to get the sword card up to a high enough level. But this is like an S tier sword, in my opinion. Like, it has a great swing speed, great hitbox, decent stats overall. Like,
yeah, at level 99, the sword familiar is one of the strongest weapons in the game, unless you count Muramasa, with the leveling and all that. But
yeah, it's not able to do thousands of damage per hit, but it's pretty darn good.
Yeah. It'll definitely get the job done for you by the time you get it.
Yeah, still a very, very close race, and already I think we're going to see a little bit of, I guess, the favor switching over to Deirdre here, just from the ability of killing things so quickly, maybe, perhaps. It's still very close, though.
And this is something that a lot of people don't pay attention to, but as a person who watches a lot of races, right? Like watching tournaments go by and everything, you notice that a lot of the difference between top-end racers and some of our almost could have got there racers is literally boss fight time. Like understanding how the bosses act and react, understanding how to kill them the most efficient way. When you watch a match between somebody like yourself and Jupiter Climb, or you watch a match between somebody like you and, let's say, God's Child, the difference that you see during boss fights, if both of you start the boss at the exact same time, the top-end players tend to eke it out a lot faster just because they understand how to kill these bosses more efficiently.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, the Symphony of the Night bosses are relatively static. Even the Richter fight, like we've seen throughout the proliferation of this tournament, people have gotten a lot better at this Richter fight. And this strat right here of using the Hellfire to knock Richter out of his attack, Deirdre using the powered up Hellfire so that way it hits twice, knocks him into the center of the screen, and then is able to start the loop again. Something that I personally would have never came up with, but that's the nice part about having an entire community looking out for strats like this, is that, all it takes is one person looking at things slightly differently to get people on the right track.
Yeah. Deirdre made note of this in the Long Library Discord. Shoutouts to the Discord, by the way. He made note of it in there, and he demonstrated the strat, and I was like, bruh, I didn't even I
Uh-oh.
consider cool.
Uh,
Better put on that brilliant mail.
yeah. Getting swung around by Uncle Akmadon. He's going to take you for a ride.
Gonna take you for a ride.
And this is still an insanely close match. I would assume that the addition of the familiar sword would give Durdrak such a huge advantage, but I guess not. Jizhand putting in a ton of work for Renan, though.
Yeah, what we're seeing from Renan is he's focusing on execution, right? Like, he's just focusing on making sure that he times his exits, gets out of there as quickly as humanly possible. We see Deirdre kind of showing off, doing a bit of the flashy flash.
You don't need those Vlad relics, or any of the relics, really, at that point. Maybe...
Technically, no.
Yeah.
But what we do see is, what we will see, I should say, is that Deirdre is going to straight skip the shop. He's not even going to hang around in there, right? Meanwhile, Renan may actually waste some time there to upgrade himself.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you were super hardcore trying to optimize your boss rush every single time, is you would just need to know exactly the minimum number of Power of Sires or Vile Stack opportunities that you would need to just get through Dracula and Shaft. But I mean, with the Alucard, the Familiar Sword, you probably don't even need to worry about that. And this is another boss fight that's going to be incredibly sped up because of the Familiar Sword is just damage per hit, being Doppelganger.
Yeah, I mean, Doppelganger going into that hit stun where he has iframes and everything, it really slows it down when you're depending on something like Chrysogrim or Vorpal Blade, right?
Yeah, you just want something with high initial damage. Yeah, 45 damage per hit. I wouldn't be surprised if Durdrak is doing closer to 70.
Yeah, usually at this point they're doing about 70. Against Doppelganger, I'm going to say it, one of the few opportunities where you might consider using a greatsword.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's the end lag is slow or whatever, but who cares? And we're seeing a Vile Stack here, and it is enough to kill all of them except for Ralph, the stubbornest of all Belmonts. And he was one hit away, so.
Always got to handle your fake friends, right? Here we see the Bee's strat using the knives to take down the arm. Once the arm is gone, Bee's hit points will be low enough that it should take 1 or 2 hits from the familiar.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Yep, perfect. Yeah, that's another cool strategy that I probably wouldn't have thought of off the top of my head. I always assumed that his limbs are out of reach without having to jump off that platform, but he's just barely on the screen there, so.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a little sketchy of a setup, but... Okay, gets the stun lock going here. Nice.
And he doesn't go for the hops.
Why not? Think of the optimization here. You could do 1 extra hit every couple of cycles or so.
God, we've seen so many people go for hops, they fail the hops, and then all of a sudden Galamoth takes a step back and he's like, my turn.
It's scary, man. It's scary. And yeah, Renan definitely does not have the firepower to catch up on Galamoth, that's for sure. So this is looking like sword card execution and just damage and not checking as many items is going to put Durdrak in the lead here.
There he is. He's already done.
That was a relatively fast fight, all things considered.
Yeah, this 60, Galamoth in boss rush, if you go the long way, he has 8,000 HP, which is down from the 12k that he has normally. It makes a lot of a difference there.
Yeah. Man, Durdrak is schmoovin' right now. This is just boss rush, and this is kind of meant to be a little bit of a hand warmer as well for the players, but I mean, we saw before the match started, Durdrak was doing some crazy stuff as a warm-up, so... Ooh, but does miss the Tetra Spirit. Probably just didn't charge ever so slightly long enough. But
Got it there, though.
Yeah, using the Tetra Spirit for invincibility frames is kind of like a twofold, where you're both doing damage while also getting the iframes from the spell. So it's a pretty efficient way to handle things, for sure.
Meanwhile, Renantral chugging away on that Galamoth face.
Oh, yeah. And they're only, less than 15 minutes in, and Durdrak already on the final boss here. This is pretty fast. I wonder if you wanted the fastest ever completion time of boss rush, if you would go for a sword familiar route or not. Assuming that you don't do the shortcut, obviously.
It's something that Mozilla and I, whenever we were creating the preset, we kind of went back and forth on it, right? Like, we were like, okay, well, if it's this powerful, do we necessarily want to put it in there? Do we want to reduce
never
the
mind, he doesn't
damage
one
that
cycle,
does?
JK. It's over.
Yeah. Too bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't even remember what my fastest time was when I was like grinding it. I think it was like a low 14.
Sub 15. Yeah, it was like low 14s.
Yeah, something like that. But still, like pretty casually getting in a 15-minute time in a tournament match is pretty decent, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you're given like random starting gear.
Also, you get to depend on your boy Zorlo, so.
Yeah. Renan using the shield rod with fire shield, that's pretty sick. Not sick enough to steal the race, but still sick nonetheless.
Absolutely.
And I don't think Renan is too beat up about this. Like we said before, this doesn't necessarily matter for like overall win-loss scoring. It's just for priority in the pick and ban phase. But theoretically, if the match runs long enough, every preset will be seen anyways. So,
Yeah. This is going to be an exciting set, for sure.
Oh, I'm excited. That's for sure. And Renan, what are you doing? Oh no. Renan, you need to learn glitchless, man. What are you doing with that shield rod?
Run glitchless.
This is why you gotta, even if you're just a randomizer player, stealing strats from like world record speedruns is pretty strong because they come up, Meanwhile,
they always come up.
Meanwhile, my lazy ass sees Durdrak coming up with new strats to get through the spike room with like minimum relics and items, and I'm like, I'll learn it later. I'm not gonna sit down and learn skill of wolf plus mist blind spike breaker.
No.
It's gonna come up in this tournament match though, and that's gonna be hype when it does.
Look, you're still one better than me. You learned Dark Wolf. I have never touched it.
Dark Wolf made sense when you were running a tournament that it came up in like almost every single match versus something where it's like, okay, I have a hammer, 2 nails, a bottle of Coke in my backpack, and I have to get through the spike room. Somehow Durdrak will make it work.
Yeah, like, meanwhile, all the other racers are, running into the other room like, guys, I need 5 guys in a jar of peanut butter and a frying pan. Let's go.
Exactly. They're too strong. They're too strong. So I guess they're going to get into the pick and bans right now. So
yes, sir.
We are seeing the next match, however, start up right here. We got Leg Day Area Randomizer. This, honestly, out of all the presets, is my favorite. I love Leg Day. I think the Area Rando also creates a very interesting dynamic of like, we have the map tracker set up for these players. Renan doesn't have the map tracker up, but who cares? Renan, one of the players who's a little bit of a hater of Area Rando and Map Rando or whatever, but
We saw this in one of the earlier rounds where Clam raced without the map tracker, and he saved a ton of time over his opponent. He didn't win the match, but he did save a ton of time over his opponent because he
just
wasn't
didn't have to interact with it.
Yeah, like he didn't have to slow down, he didn't have to stop. But we'll see if Renan can do the Mario Kart mirror track brain chemistry that I do whenever I race without the map tracker. But
oh yeah,
like that's literally where I put it when the Area Rando first came out. I was like, I tried it and I was like, like it felt weird because there wasn't a map tracker then, right? We just kind of had to do it mentally or, write it down on a notebook piece of paper.
Yeah,
and
when you don't have access to like being able to, when you have to make notes like that, it can be a little bit tough for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you have something that's tracking it, it goes a long way, genuinely, to helping you not get too lost here. And I kind of like what Durdrak is doing here, immediately going for the first area transition just to get it in the brain understood where you're going. And there is a relic to check immediately, so
might as well do it. Yeah.
Or Durdrak said, screw it, I'll do it later.
That's fine.
Or not. Remembering, oh yeah, there's a relic here.
Like
already the brain is scrambled.
Leg Day was a perfect vehicle through which to do the area randomizer in a tournament, just because Leg Day already gives you Leap Stone. It already gives you flight straight out of the gate,
Oh
so you're
yeah.
not going to end up soft locked.
Yep. And the movement is fun. Like I like being able to do multiple jumps over and over again, kind of Flappy Bird style. I like doing dive kick chains into double jumps. Like those, it's a very fun, interesting movement option that you wouldn't have in any other preset. And having played every randomizer preset, I will say that having things that are unique and fun in your preset goes a long way for replayability for sure. Because sometimes it can definitely feel like things get a little too samey. And I could see like Leg Day, if it was just Leg Day on its own, it might not have been spicy enough for a lot of players. It might have felt like a little too quick, a little too easy. But adding the area randomization on top of it, it helps a lot for sure. It honestly, the area rando with Leg Day kind of makes me like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Wistful of the idea of having like a full map rando for this game.
Yeah. Which is something that we've recently had some movement on. One of the Discord members, For at Negre, came up with a system by which to track the requirements to get into and out of every room transition in the game. And he uploaded this, and he was just like, do with it what you will. And everybody was like, well, wait a minute, what if we could make a room randomizer? And, you know, it went two different ways, obviously, right? Because we have the Xenia randomizer now, which flash loads all of the zones into memory instead of just one at a time.
Yeah.
And then the PlayStation version can only do one zone at a time. And I was like, well, if you did this, like, within each zone, you randomize the rooms, you could easily do this on the PlayStation.
It would just be, I can't, certain zones I don't even think could be randomized. I don't think there's enough, like, room transitions, unless you go for, like, a full non-Euclidean, like, left equals right, right equals left, doesn't matter. Like, it's just a area transition and then just warp to a different, like, kind of how the area rando works, where you go through a transition and then it just, like, plops you out wherever. It doesn't care if it's, like, left, right justified or not. If you did the same thing for, like, screen transitions, it would be easier. But creating like a full Euclidean understood, like, complete world that exists in 2D, I think certain areas might not even be able to randomize.
Yeah, one of the ones that I thought that would be really difficult would be Abandoned Mines / The Cave.
And Outer Wall, I think, as well.
Yeah, Outer Wall, I think Outer Wall would just look the same every time almost. Like, it wouldn't be anything different. Like, you might see, you know,
But yeah, if you were able to pull from different areas, then you could get like a more complete map rando, something similar to like what the Super Metroid map rando is able to do, where it is still blocked off into individual zones and areas, but within those areas can exist, you know, the maps from like all sorts of different, you know, the rooms from any sort of area, really.
Yeah, but if I recall correctly, Super Metroid's rooms, there were just more rooms per zone. I feel like, you know, in some of the Symphony of the Night zones, there's a lot of rooms, right? Like,
the rooms
Marble
are
Gallery
on
has
average larger in SotN than I feel like they are in Super Metroid relative to like the screen size, for sure.
Yes. But, like, you know, it just depends.
Yeah, like, for example, the you know, Forbidden Route that we're seeing right here on Durjak's screen, like, this is just a massive big old room. Like, you got to plop this somewhere if you're going to make a map rando. But the other thing that is nice about this game is, like, a lot of the large areas, I think, are traversable with, like, 0 relics, because a lot of them are from the early game that don't require any relics. And then some of them, like Colosseum, for example, is fully traversable without any relics, but except for, I guess, the room transition into the Holy Sword room.
That's right.
But even then, that's, like, meant to be a later game area, but you still don't need the relics. So I can see a world where, you know, it just works out, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, the worst part about it would be trying to implement logic. Like, that would be the worst part about it. Putting that logic into preset files, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and, like, you know, that's a lot of just manual work, and also sitting down in every room in the game being like, okay, what are the entrance requirements for these rooms? What are the escape requirements? And then, like, also determining, like, there's going to be a ton of edge cases as well that I imagine will be really annoying and stuff, so... I love how both players are just standing completely still. Best part of the speedrun is standing still going, where the fuck do I go?
Or where the hell am I?
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
like this part of the randomizer though, because they have to stop and think about where they are. They have no time to think
Mhm.
about where their opponent is.
Pretty much, yeah. It kind of just turns into like routing it as best as you can. Um, as somebody who played a lot of leg day area rando, because I just enjoyed it a lot, as long as you have the map tracker set up, like, yeah, you're spending a little bit of time, making the connections on the map tracker, but in my mind, it helped so much for routing the second castle, because the castles keep the same area transition points when you
Hmm.
flip the castles. So when you're like, oh, I need to think about how to get to, I don't know, death, for example. You don't have to like just start looking for area transitions. You can go, okay, I just need to get to the mines. And the best way to get to the mines is to get to, this location,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
One thing I haven't seen people using during the tournament, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they have to or anything, but it might help. And it's the fact that you can actually, on that map tracker, you can rearrange the zones themselves.
I tried messing
Like,
around with it as well. It felt a little bit clunky compared to just like drawing the lines, but
yeah. But like I was always a fan of, okay, draw the lines, and then when you move to second castle, rearrange it so that it makes sense.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And we're
Oh,
seeing the Nose Devil get involved.
I don't understand the nose devil thing.
You know, it's for fun.
I guess.
What? What is Renan doing?
Maybe he's looking for better equipment.
I don't know. That sword seems pretty good. 56 damage per slash on the Thunderbrand. That's fine enough. Cerberus doesn't care
Yeah.
about lightning damage. Oh, strawberries though. It was worth it.
Not worth it at all. Like, the garnet doesn't even make it worth it to me. Like,
It might. We still haven't seen the library yet, so
yeah.
no, those checks I don't think are worth it. But I think Renan is playing with the idea of like, I'm not expected to win this anyways. This is my least favorite of the presets available, so I'm just gonna try and cheese it. Maybe find a duplicator. Maybe find library cards, something like that.
Yeah, do something fun with it for a minute. Like, maybe this is him relaxing before the real intense workout of trying to play the presets that he knows how to play better.
Yeah, that's true. Something like an Aperture or a Beyond or, any of the other ones. Magic Mirror.
And frankly, like, okay, on the one hand, I do blame him because he chose not to practice this preset. But on the other hand, I
Yeah.
don't blame him because if it's really not your bag, it's not your bag.
Yeah, I can get that. I can get behind that. When you have 5 different presets on the table for tournament play, things can get a little bit tricky. Having all of them prepared, ready to go, and being like confident in all of them, it makes sense that you would just kind of be like, you know what, this one will be the one I'm not going to worry too much about.
And who are we to yuck somebody's yum, right?
I mean, it makes sense. Did we see anything cool in the shop? Oh, that Varda though. Too bad it's too expensive.
Way too expensive.
Yeah, and the Kingstone's not worth it because Kingstones just show up on the map here.
Yeah.
So
Mana Prism, though, not too horrible.
yeah, but like spells and magic they don't really matter in this preset. Leg Day is kind of OP with its movement already, and you don't have to spend money or spend mana, I mean, for it. So
I will say this, the only downside to Leg Day, controversial opinion, I know, there can be a downside to Leg Day, how dare he. The only downside to Leg Day is that the other bat relics are still there.
yeah, because they are just useless relics. They're like legitimately useless because you're never going to find the bat transformation. Mist and Wolf both show up, right?
Yeah, Mist makes an appearance, but like the other two wolf relics won't appear.
Yeah.
So like you can get Soul Wolf, but you'll never get power or skill.
I think that's fine. The idea of this preset is to emphasize the new movement options, so might as well.
Ooh, we found Outer Wall already?
Outer Wall's a great place to find because it has 3 different area transitions and a warp. So, not grabbing the warp though. What are you? Why?
Nani?
Why? Ren clearly is not very comfortable in this preset because, like, at least when I was playing this preset, goal number one is if I found an area that has a warp, I'm grabbing the warp no matter what because it will be useful later. Oh, there's another outer wall location. They're right next to each other. Never mind. Maybe he already has the warp. Maybe he already did this earlier. I don't know. At the very least, if he doesn't have the warp, that's a misplay. If he does have the warp, he's chilling.
With how long he's paused, though, I'm wondering, like, he does have the map tracker. He has to if he's waiting this long.
Yeah, I think he maybe opened the map tracker. He just doesn't have it on his stream layout, so we can't reference it, but whatever. You know.
I mean, it's up to him.
Yeah, it's whatever.
This
imagine
is
playing without
a bad idea.
I was going to say, imagine playing without a relic tracker. Now, that's some real gamer moment. To be fair, I forget which tournament it was, but I'm pretty sure Wild Mouse played in a tournament on original hardware, so 0 access to map tracker, and also had additional lag compared to BizHawk. So,
yeah,
I think he still ended up winning some matches. I don't remember, but when he was doing races, he was always playing on his actual PlayStation.
Yeah, and you know, okay. When I first got into the community, a lot of people were like, "Oh, yeah, don't forget to get the relic tracker." And I was like, "Wait, there's a relic tracker?" You know, because I'm over here playing Adventure Seeds, just remembering what I have. Because
you're crazy.
Well, you know, like, and so everybody's like, "Oh yeah, there's a relic tracker. You can tell what you got." And I was like, "Oh, why do I need that?"
And then you do a race, and you're like, "Oh God." And you're just trying to remember, like, dude, this seed started 20 minutes ago. I can't tell you if I checked, you know, half the checks that I apparently already did.
Mm-hmm. It's more
library card.
More so for the map, right? Like, it's not even necessarily for the relic tracker on the side. That's for the audience. But for you, just being able to say, oh, that's green. I need to go there.
Interesting. Renan finds a library card and then immediately uses it. I don't know how I feel about that strategy, especially if you don't have mist. I feel
or
like you
the teleporter for outer wall.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this isn't necessarily connected to outer wall with the area rando. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like if he doesn't have that teleporter, he may be lost.
If he hasn't been to the library already, which it seems like he hasn't since he's checking the shop, he has no clue where this is going to send him when he leaves the area. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Renan's just vibing. He's playing this seed based off of vibes alone, which is, I guess, that's fine. It's chill. Maybe
he doesn't have the map tracker open. He's literally using that time to, like, flick his cigarette or drink some coffee.
Maybe. Could just be writing it down on a pen and paper. That's another option. And Jewel of Open is acquired. Durdrak, it's hard to tell, but, I mean, just looking at the tracker, Drax got more Vlads, more relics in total. Seems like doing a good job of routing through efficiently. Because it does kind of come down to, like, you check the areas and, like, it's random. So, like, if you get lucky and you find an area with a lot of relics, great. If not, you know, you have to make the decision, is it worth staying here? And Durdrak is having that conundrum right now. Is it worth staying here knowing that there's 2 relics in Alchemy Lab? And I think the answer is yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's explored most of the map, and, you know, he's connected a lot of the doorways here.
You can end up getting sidetracked pretty hard when your idea is like, okay, I'm going to check all the area transitions in this one area. Like Outer Wall, for example, has 3. And you might think, okay, I'm just going to peek into each area and see where they lead. And then it sends you to an area that immediately has a few relic checks, and you're like, shoot, what do I do now? My plan was to do all the checks, but now I have to do relic checks instead of area checks, and then you have to prioritize the difference between them, and then there's teleporters involved. It gets very complicated very quickly.
But here we see him taking a trip to Marble Gallery? No, Clock Tower.
Another library card found for Renan, which is nice, considering he used one of his earlier. But now, as soon as he finds Mist, he has access to, you know, going to the library immediately to do that check. And where was that? I'm going to look at the map. It was Clock Tower. The other side of Clock Tower connects to Alchemy Lab. That's actually good for Durdrak here, because Durdrak already did the relic check in Clock Tower. So now he can just go down, back into Alchemy Lab, then go down, do the relic check at the bottom of Alchemy Lab, and then check the bottom area transition in Alchemy Lab. So Alchemy Lab will be fully mapped out. Looking at his map, he's done all of Castle Keep, all of Clock Tower, all of Chapel, is about to do all of Alchemy Lab, has done 2 transitions in Marble Gallery.
He's done 3 transitions in Marble Gallery.
Oh yeah, 3 transitions in Marble Gallery.
4 actually. I'm sorry.
Where's the 4th one? Am I blind?
Okay.
Oh, he's done all 4. He has done all 4. It's just hard to see the lines.
Well, there's 5 transitions in Marble Gallery.
There's 4.
1 goes to entrance, 1 goes to Alchemy Lab, 1 goes down into caves, 1 goes into Orrox's quarters, and 1 goes to Outer Wall.
I forgot the Alchemy Lab one. Okay, so that's the one he's missing. And he's missing the caverns. So he just found the last one in Alchemy Lab, which means the last transition he hasn't done has to send him to the catacombs, which, according to this map tracker, is the other side of... Wait, he hasn't done Colosseum yet, right? No, he has done Colosseum. I'm confused.
He also doesn't have the tip top of caves.
Ah, so that has to lead to the catacombs. That's what it is. Yep.
So, a little bit of a ways to go there, though, because, like, that tip-top entrance to caves, like, it's next to nothing.
Yeah. It's hard to see on stream. I'll make it bigger for you guys, but we're talking about the top of the catacombs and the caverns not showing up, so... After that, Durdrak will have already mapped out the entire castle system of warps in under 20 minutes, which is pretty good. Because you can finish seeds in this preset in like 45, 50 minutes with the area rando. They can last longer depending on the complexity of like where it wants you to go for certain relics. If it wants you to go back and forth between the castles many times, that is a thing that can happen. As far as like gate-kept relic locations, they can't do the Holy Glasses location. They can't do the Soul of Bat location. They can't reasonably do the Spikebreaker location, but I feel like Durdrak might Flappy Bird his way through the Spike Room.
Yeah, I think he's at least going to go for it, right? Durdrak is one of those people who's just, like, the Spike Room is his favorite room in the castle. Mm-hmm. He just loves out of logicking that in every way possible.
I mean, it can give you a massive advantage, so... That's for sure. Are those the last of like the guarded? Oh, and then Merman statue leading to Holy Symbol is the other one.
Am I tripping? Did he skip going behind Scylla to check the relic?
Yeah, I think the door didn't spawn in, so he didn't want to like clip through the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, he got the door glitch. So disqualified, unfortunately. Sorry.
Yeah. Disqualified.
DQ'd all for a heart max up. Shaking my SMH. Yeah, Scylla is this room is very glitchy for many reasons.
Yeah, it's a good thing this room goes away after you leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Scylla boss fight can cause out of bounds stuff to happen, soft locks, stuff like that. The soft lock's been patched in the randomizer, thankfully.
Out of bounds stuff sounds like something that would be censored by a Christian video game.
Yeah, for sure. Or, you know, any speedrunning leaderboard in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, the OG speedrunner rules back in the day were quite wild. Even before my time, it was like no out of bounds in like even SDA didn't allow out of bounds for a very long time until Metroid Prime runners were like, dude, the game is so much better if we can do the out of bounds glitches. So yeah. SDA eventually was like, fine, we'll allow glitches. What was the other leaderboard? That because there was SDA was like not necessarily meant to be a leaderboard. It was just meant to like highlight whatever the best times submitted were. And then there was the actual leaderboard site that I can't remember the name of. Twin Galaxies.
Twin Galaxies? Oh,
yeah,
never even heard.
Oh well, they've their reputation has come and gone with time. But you know,
you constantly hear about bad things. I'm not going to try to go into any details or specifics. Just know that it's bad things. You constantly hear about bad things, and it's like it happens in every community. Every single community I've ever been a part of or have heard about, they've always had a bad thing. And
the Billy Mitchell stuff, people in chat are saying Billy Mitchell stuff. It's the Billy Mitchell stuff is bad, but there were worse things that happened.
Yes.
Regardless.
And it happens in every community. You can't do anything about it. And if you create a community around speedrunning or competitive gaming in some sort of front, you're going to end up with a bad thing. You can't stop it. The best thing that you can do is have a strategy to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's just how you react to it. But Durdrak over here, nothing bad showing up for Durdrak as he's able to have 3 of the 5 Vlad relics already 21 minutes in. Final Vlad, if it's at Spike Breaker and Durdrak does, well, Catacombs right here, does some Flappy Birding around to weave through the spike room, I want to see it. You coward, get back in there. I want to see you do the spike room blind.
Oh. You know, it's so wild because, like, every single time I race, I always end up near either Silver Ring or Spike Breaker room without anything.
Mm.
And I'm like, if I were Durdrak, I could do this.
I mean, it just goes to show that this game has like such a huge well of skill expression. And of course he's going for it. Oh, he's got 2 elixirs. He's chilling. And a life apple, but no familiar. So Durdrak setting up. You're not map buffering this. Ain't no way. What are you doing? Oh my.
Absolute mad lad.
He's cracked. Oh my god. I don't think I would be able to do that with like 100 tries. That is insane. The amount of control you have to like not touch the spikes there, and also map buffering the dive kick, jump cancel to like weave through that last. Oh my god, it's so fucking good.
Map buffering and makes it free, baby.
And gets the silver ring on top of that. That's likely going to lead to the final Vlad, which means the other Vlad that's missing is just randomly somewhere in the castle. It doesn't necessarily mean it's like for free, just chilling somewhere, because there are still a couple of other locked locations. It could also be in the like complexity chain that like this is the start of the chain that leads towards the final Vlad. So you can find mist at Holy Glasses. You can find anything that isn't Spikebreaker, basically,
and he
can
did
be found
it again
there.
On the way out. No touchy.
I would have damage boosted on the way out, but, you know, that's because I would be like, okay, I already did the hard thing. I don't need to worry about it again. And you have Mournblade, too, to get your health back, too, so. Honestly, Durdrak's like, I don't know, do I do Grand Floon? Just do it. Who cares? poor Renan.
Yeah, Ren's going to be so far behind on this by the time it gets around.
This really is a Durdrak preset. Oh, just kidding. Durdrak said, screw it. I don't like that Grand Floon guy. I don't like the way he walks, the way he talks.
I'll tell you what it is. He's afraid that the bodies will hit the floor.
True. Very true. And to be fair, the odds are pretty low that Grand Floon has a Vlad Relic, but either way.
Are we ever going to talk about the fact that it's raining men and let the bodies hit the floor happened from 2 different perspectives?
Both songs about Grand Floon, funny enough. Big Symphony of the Night fans in the music industry. And from here, where is Durdrak going? Back to the cavern, said, oops. Maybe not. Because the caverns leads to Outer Wall on the other side, or Alchemy Lab. So is Alchemy Lab meant to get to... Yeah, because then the other side of Alchemy Lab gets to Marble Gallery. Is there not a better way to get to Marble Gallery? Because Alrox's quarters is the closest location. And yeah, Alrox's quarters has 2 different options. So if you had a warp that led to Alrox's quarters, you would be able to get to Marble Gallery pretty quickly.
Just one of these days, I want to have somebody like Foregone Moose just do a task of like an area rando chaos light seed.
Could be interesting.
Just watch how it optimally routes every room and does every check. And
when was the last significant SotN task, now that I think about it? It was probably the Saturn any percent task.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and that was like 2 years ago, a year ago, something like that.
I mean, like, to be fair, though, like, we are still learning new tech from tasks, right? Something that Durdrak pioneered, Jupiter Climb jumped on board with it. Sugden also gave it a shot a lot, which is the quick grab where you do the summon spirit as you grab things. That was a task tech. And then these guys are just like...
Do we know if you can even do that on Xbox?
I don't know if it can be done on Xbox. I know that Deirdre does it in tournament whenever he's playing a preset where antifreeze is off.
Yeah. The reason I ask is because I remember I brought it up to Rom Scout last time I saw him, and he was like, "Oh, people are doing that? Like, did they find a way to make it work on Xbox?" And I was like, "Wait, it doesn't work on Xbox?" And this is just one of those things where like old school SotN terminology and like knowledge. Oh, holy glasses. Oh, so Spikebreaker's in the first castle.
Yep.
Oh. But yeah, the dissemination of knowledge back in the day was like not as good as it is now. So
Right.
apparently there just happened to be a consensus amongst because we didn't have tasking tools for Xbox, and we still don't. But nobody was able to do it on Xbox. So I think Xbox runners just like never tried to do it. I remember I messed around with it a little bit when TASs at the time were doing it, and I was like, I never got it to work. So I always thought it was so insanely difficult that like I never knew it was impossible. It may not be possible on Xbox. It might be possible. I don't know. Maybe we're all bad, but I was under the impression that it's not possible on Xbox, or it's so insanely difficult it's not worth doing at all. Which is why when I saw people doing it on the emulator or PlayStation, I was like, you guys are crazy for doing this. But they found ways to make it consistent. So maybe I was wrong by assuming that it was just really hard, but maybe it's not actually that hard, but actually impossible. I don't know. It's weird.
Like, I've seen people doing Fire of Bat while doing the Wing Smash input, so you don't suffer the lag from the Fire of Bat, and you just Wing Smash with an orange glow and stuff. At this point, I'm considering, like, if it's possible to do in TAS, it's probably possible to do as a human being. You just need to be
the Fire of Bat thing
human.
is super easy. You just plink the square button before you release X, and it's fine. It's chill.
Yikes.
It's chill. Like, it's not frame perfect or anything.
I tried to do it. I couldn't. I was just like, all right, I'm done. I'm out. I'm not going to try it anymore. I wanted orange Wing Smashes. Biz Murphy gave us that, so...
True. I think it comes down to the screen freeze on casting spells. I think takes longer on PlayStation than it does on Xbox or something like that.
Maybe, or it just doesn't make as big of a difference because the freeze on grabbing relics is shorter.
Something.
Who knows?
Either way.
Here we see Deirdre. He's already gone into the second castle, and he's making his way towards something.
That reminds me, I should just ask Deirdre just to see if he's done it on like Xenia or something.
Yeah.
Either way, yep. Grabbing the warp here in the reverse castle here. Does that mean okay? So if Spikebreaker's in the first castle, we don't know where it is because neither player has found it yet. That means Grand Falloon, the check that Deirdre skipped, is being done by Renan, presumably right now. And we'll find out what it is, because I think it has to be progression. It's either going to be a transformation that allows for all rocks, or it has to be a Spikebreaker, I'm pretty sure. Or I guess it could be a Merman statue as well.
Yeah. But even if it is a transformation that leads to all rocks, it can't be both transformations unless it's wolf into mist or mist into wolf.
Yeah, something like that.
So
it can't be mist into wolf, I'm pretty sure, because then that... Well, maybe it could be. No, it could... Well, yeah, it could be mist into wolf at all rocks, but the wolf doesn't matter. And then the actual transfer or the actual progression is somewhere else.
Yeah.
Regardless, this is going to be a progression relic of some kind. Deirdre did skip it, so this might end up mattering depending on what it is. It is Spikebreaker. So yeah, Deirdre just kind of calling it. Realizing that, you know, the odds of it being something at Grand Falloon that's actually worth keeping was low enough that the skip worked out. Oh, but the big toss. So this is the thing that people keep complaining about. And I say people as if they're actual real people, but instead they're probably just YouTube bots. Oh, but the big toss the other way, that was sick. But you can't get big tossed again or else you'll die. So what I'm trying to say is, this preset obviously gives you an invincible backdash. And people are like, oh, that's so broken. You don't even have to play the video game. Well, you do, because the backdash is not invincible frame 0 as soon as you do it. It starts up like 4 frames later, and the backdash is very fast. So you'll end up backdashing into stuff that does damage to you if you're not careful, if you try and backdash too quickly. I would just Flappy Bird at the top of the screen. Yeah, you're fine. If you mash jump, they can't hit you.
That's right.
Yep.
Either that, or you can dive kick off of their head in their swing lag,
Yeah, that as well. That's another option.
which is my favorite way to go through there.
Yeah, I think Dirtjack was just a little shooken up, having big tossed twice on accident. That's very scary. Big tossing on purpose, very fun, very cool. Big tossing on accident, terrifying.
On that note, on the note of getting big tossed, we were actually looking at adding the enemy stat randomizer as an option to the randomizer, and we discovered how enemies can apply the damage state for big toss directly to Alucard.
Yeah, because there's a couple of attacks in the game that force a big toss type animation, like Galamoth's kick always will big toss Alucard. I guess Akbadon's throw attack is slightly different, maybe, but maybe it shares similar properties. I don't know.
Yeah, but we also found the water element that is unused.
Yeah,
so
the why is it? I don't know. Why is it in the game? Just one of those things where they're like, yeah, we'll add a water element, and then like didn't do anything about it.
But Scylla is immune.
Scylla is immune to water. I think the frozen shades are like weak, or not weak, but they resist water. Something like that. Yeah,
they resist water.
Yeah, there is a water element in the code of the game. It is inaccessible via any like attack damage type in the game, but it does exist.
Yeah.
It's just like unused content, basically, or an unused property in the game. Who knows? Maybe some ROM hackers in the future might, create a water sword or something. Who knows?
Yeah, Crazy wants to use water for his, Swords Matter preset. I was considering adding randomized circlets in the enemy stat rando option to just kind of say, okay, well, some enemies will be able to deal water damage, or some enemies who are not Salome can deal cat damage. Here's a circlet that might absorb that,
Now, if there was a way to, like, edit the sprite of the enemy to tell you what type of damage it does, that'd be kind of interesting. Because otherwise, it's just guess and check, which probably doesn't feel very good.
The unfortunate part is that we're going to have to use Fairy Scroll to help players determine what is happening to each enemy.
Oh, I guess if you can edit the name, yeah, that's something similar is done in the Aria Sorrow enemy stat rando. Yeah,
that's kind of where we got the idea. It's like nobody likes Fairy Scroll, but in this particular instance, I think it just kind of becomes necessary, because otherwise, how do you tell why this guy is hitting so hard?
Yeah, exactly. But hey, as long as there's an in-game way to denote what's going on, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
That's another thing that came up in my mind with the idea of like a map rando, because they can be incredibly disorienting. Like even the area randomizer is incredibly disorienting without the tracker. If you don't have a way to showcase like how the game is being randomized, or to like check your work, it becomes very frustrating. Like for example, if the map didn't update properly in like a map rando, you would just get lost so quickly.
Yeah. And it's funny because you mentioned the Aria rando, as far as the enemy stat rando is concerned. That's basically what I decided to do. Is like, I was like, okay, I'm going to increase or decrease their stats based off of a percentage of the original stat, instead of the enemy stat rando that you tried before, where you might end up encountering a bone scimitar that hits like Galamoth.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of shuffling the stats, it just like changes them dynamically or whatever.
So we're trying to go about it in a better way.
Zangetsu, thank you for the sub, much appreciated. Yeah, it just goes to show that there's still tons of more interesting options left on the table for ways to randomize Symphony of the Night. Or just, modify it in fun, new, interesting ways.
Yeah.
I mean, retro gaming as a whole is, living it up. Especially as, more games get decompiled, more games get, different mod tools created and stuff. It's a good time. It's a good time to be old.
I'm not going to lie. Like, realistically, we were talking about this the other day, other rando devs and I, and it's like, if it wasn't for No Cache PSX, which is a tool for, debugging PlayStation games, we wouldn't be near where we are on the SotN Rando.
Yeah, it just goes to show that, you know, all it takes is one person putting in the time and effort to create a tool that more people use, that create more tools and more knowledge, and, you know, it disseminates from there. It's huge.
So,
yeah, SotN is definitely a lot harder to ROM hack than, you know, a lot of games that are more prolific in ROM hacking culture, like Super Mario World or Super Metroid. But, you know, hey, maybe one day we can get there. Maybe one day.
yeah, I've Made Up of Wires. He's a streamer that streams decomping SotN, and he actually discovered that the way that death steals your items in the intro of the game is by it looks for a certain number of items that starts with Alucard's headgear and moves down. And so he was like, eventually we may be able to set the number of items that it takes. And I was like, what? So eventually he can yoink my entire inventory? No thanks.
Dude, that would be actually kind of funny.
But it's all good fun, you know, finding these things out, hanging out in those kinds of streams where people are coding or decoding or whatever. It's interesting to see those things.
I mean, SotN is also just a game that, like, it has so much potential in its, you know, world design, movement design. Just like, it's a well-designed video game. Being able to mix and match the pieces in different and unique ways is always, in my opinion, going to be cool, interesting. I mean, the randomizer alone showcases like a lot of the cool ways that the game, once you change the direction of like what the win condition is for beating the game, like all of a sudden you get to see all of the cool random stuff that they put in the game, all of the items, all of the enemies, enemy locations, boss fights that aren't necessarily required, stuff like that.
Yeah, to that point, and you know, we're watching Leg Day here, right? Interesting tidbit about Leg Day as a preset. When it was being generated, that little jump that they have at the end of the backdash, most of that didn't even need coding. All they needed to do was be able to preserve the momentum. The game did the rest.
Yeah, the game has like a really robust like momentum system that you don't need to do too much to get like interesting results, like having momentum added to jumping after a backdash.
Yeah. So lots of really cool stuff going on in this game, and you know, we're lucky that we're where we are now. We're going to be even luckier still once the decomp happens, because once the decomp happens, we're going to be in that modding golden zone. We'll
it'll be a gold rush
on the same map as like Doom, you know, where I remade this in SotN.
Yeah. Twisty Tank does bring up a interesting point. In a full like map rando, if you have a death that is able to take away a random number of items from your inventory and he's just somewhere on the map lurking at any given time,
don't put that evil on me.
It's kind of funny because there's somewhat of a similar situation that happens in the Super Metroid map rando, where the baby from the beginning of the game, the cutscene where it latches onto Samus and like steals all of her HP but one. That also lurks randomly in the map somewhere, and sometimes that'll be connected to a heated room. So if you leave that room, go into the next room, you have 1 HP, you instantly die if you don't have Varia suit or whatever.
Oh god.
It, you know, so there's some parallels there. Not to be the guy who brings up Super Metroid map rando every single time that I stream, but like I'm just so impressed by that randomizer. And also I love Super Metroid. It's, you know, second favorite Metroidvania.
Super Metroid is a miraculous game, as far as I'm concerned. It is one of the best games of all time, and I just can't play it.
It is, in my opinion, one of the best designed Metroidvanias, if not the best designed Metroidvania. Yeah. And it's crazy that they came out the gate with that one, you know?
They were just like, what if we did this?
To be fair, I guess they did have Metroid 1 to begin with, Nestroid. That game is not worth playing, in my opinion. Just play, you know, Zero Mission, but... But after that, they cooked on the second one, or technically the third one. There's also the Game Boy one. Regardless, those two, you know, whatever. There's remakes for those. Don't worry about it. Thank you for the tier 3 Uber Will. Sorry for skipping over your message. Good luck. Have fun, streamer. Hope everyone is having a good day. It's always a good day.
Caverns, headed all the way up to Doppelganger 40 and Force of Echo check.
Always a good day when we got Rando tournament going on.
Oh, he's already done those. That's right. I saw him do that.
Yeah, interestingly, he's been in the second castle for quite some time and hasn't found any Vlad relics yet. I wonder if both relics are mist locked, because that is a possibility. Maybe. What's the minimum complexity in leg day again? Is it 5?
I believe it's 7.
There's no way it's 7.
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
7. I can pull up the file right now.
7 seems really high.
I will do it.
If so, then I don't think it is possible for both of them to be mist-locked then, because complexity so far has been... I guess Jewel of Open is still in logic, but the area rando kind of changes some things. So it's probably Jewel of Open into Spike Breaker, into both rings, into glasses, 7. Into Mist at 5. So that means the final... So it's going to be Merman 6, Final Vlad 7. Okay.
Yeah.
So Mist blocks a Merman and maybe a random Vlad. So actually they could both be Mist locked then. It could be random Vlad behind one of the Mist gates and then Merman statue behind the other one.
Renan, do not die. Yo, live. Ugh. Sometimes you got to channel towards the player and be like, you know. Project your aura at them.
Yeah, the complexity is 7, but it kind of plays like an 8 complexity preset. That kind of makes sense, yeah. Because you do start with stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that's locked. I don't know, it's interesting. In this preset, I'm trying to think, the complexity chain, was every single relic required? And the answer is no, because they didn't have to do max complexity, which would be a transformation. Okay, now you just go back to the first castle.
Vlad.
Yeah, just go back to the first castle immediately.
He's got to figure out how to get back to first castle.
True. Chapel leads to Aurochs's quarters and outer wall, which should lead to a warp.
Which should take him to reverse keep.
Which should take him to reverse keep, yeah. But he's going the other way around, which is going to take him to AM? Abandoned Mine. Oh, which also has a warp. So either way, or not, no. Oh, Durdrak, yeah. If Durdrak just went to the left, that would take the outer wall. This one also takes the outer wall, so...
Maybe he's going for something else?
Aurochs's quarters. So I guess he maybe isn't going back to the first castle right away?
Maybe he wants to do Akmadon first? Didn't he? No, he didn't do Akmadon yet, I don't think.
Maybe not. That's an interesting idea. Maybe because Durdrak skipped complexity, he's not sure.
Yeah.
What's going on? Like, maybe in his mind, Spikebreaker could be higher in the complexity chain as well? And then Silver Ring is Final Vlad? That's an option, maybe?
Yeah, he doesn't have the perspective we have, because we know where Spikebreaker was.
Yeah. Interesting.
Bork.
I mean, they're both in the same spot. The only difference is that... Okay. Wait just a second here. This, depending on when Durdrak decides to go back to the first castle, this got pretty spicy. Because it was Medusa with Heart of Vlad, if I remember correctly.
This could be a real match, because Renantrol is only missing Heart of Vlad. He hasn't done the Medusa check, but he's already going back with a library card. Yeah,
so... We were kind of counting Ren out this entire time, but like at the end of the day, it's a randomizer, and it kind of comes down to, do you choose the correct locations at the correct time?
And as we've seen in previous matches, literally sometimes it's just, are you willing to keep going?
Yeah. And the thing that's interesting here is it's going to come down to how many more checks does Ren do here? And it looks like Silver Ring is the progression relic, it seems, because there was nothing at the Soul of Bat. And so, I mean, Durdrak is comfortable doing Spikebreaker-less Silver Ring, but he's going to have to do it.
Yeah, he's
Unless
gonna
he
have
wants to
chain those
go.
hellfires.
Yeah, unless he wants to go all the way to Grand Floon, which, I mean, he doesn't know that's where that is, so he's probably not going to be like, well, I did skip Grand Floon, let's go there. That's probably not going to happen. This looks like Durdrak is warping back to the first castle, probably.
Yeah. Which technically puts him closer to Silver Ring?
It depends, because it will lead to Marble Gallery or Long Library, according to his map tracker. So...
Oh. I forgot this is area rando. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Where's Durdrak gone? Oh, it's a Marble Gallery. That makes sense. But why go to Marble Gallery? Because Marble Gallery doesn't lead to Chapel right away. In fact, it's probably better to go to the mine. It's because he's not using the map tracker. But if you go to the mine leads directly to Chapel. So one side of the mine leads to Castle Entrance as well, actually. So like you can kind of pick your poison. You can warp to Castle Entrance and go the long way around. But yeah, Durdrak in the library now. Library connected to Castle Keep.
Mm-hmm. I guess he's going shopping first. Or no, he's going to do solo bat check. That's right.
Yeah, no, Silver Ring is possible without Spikebreaker or Power of Mist. You have to chain spell invincibility the entire way through, which is possible, but it does require a lot of technical skill. Durdrak probably being the most technically skillful rando player there is, so especially when it comes to a lot of that out of logic jankiness, if you will. So.
Yeah, you ever think that maybe he's cheating by having a hitbox? No.
I would love to have that discussion in this community. Boy, oh boy, we are so ready. The community that will stick together like, you know, a keyboard from 1997 and like a gamepad that doesn't even have like analog sticks on it or like R2, L2 and be like, no, I run on this because I like it. Like, there's no way. That's one of the things I do like about this community in particular is we are just like, hey, look, the input device isn't what matters, it's what you do with it.
Well, the big thing for us, though, is that you don't double bind keys, right? Like, you don't have two different jumps or two different things on jump.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only thing that's even close to that is, like, allowing analog controls, so that way there is some parity between the Xbox and PlayStation versions, because people switch back and forth all the time. So that's like a more of a comfort thing, if anything. And honestly, it's kind of a debuff, because the way the analog controls on emulator are so terrible.
Yeah.
They are not nearly as good as they are on Xbox, but, you know, it's close.
I will say that from what I've seen of other communities, though, the Symphony of the Night community is probably one of the best communities to start speedrunning in, because we literally share everything. Like, you know, somebody comes up with a new tech, they've got it on the Discord or on speedrun.com the next day showing people how to do it.
I just realized this just got a little weird, because Merman statue wasn't where I thought it would be. I thought it'd be at Silver Ring. It was behind All Rocks. Turns out Mist is a transformation that unlocks things that are locked by Mist gates, but it also unlocks All Rocks. And yes, Wolf was on the same layer in the second castle. So I think they both can be allowed on that slot that leads to All Rocks, which leads to Merman statue, which leads to Final Vlad. Because I think they needed Merman statue to lead to Final Vlad for it to reach 7 complexity. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Circles. Yep, circles. That's all I gotta say.
Wowzers.
You know, like a lot of people, you know, we've had this discussion in the Discord before in the voice channels where we were talking about, you know, like other randomizers, they don't understand what we mean by layers of complexity.
It's the same idea as like spheres or circles or whatever term that a different community uses. It's all the same.
And like, I honestly think that the circles or spheres thing is a lot better of a description than layers. Like, it feels more apt.
I don't mind either. It's all the same because realistically, it's more of a decision branching tree, if anything. Like a tree map would be the closest like way to visualize it, or just like a list of steps with some branching off. Because certain randomizers don't allow branches, some do. It depends. So,
Right. Yeah, like I have a map of the tree model for one preset where like literally Solabat was the first relic, and then like everything else branched off of that into 4 different trees, each with 2 layers of complexity in them.
dude, Dirtdrag is so fucking cool. The
Oh my god.
getting enough invincibility frames to start the backdash, then the backdash containing the remaining invincible the whole time, like that's huge. That's a lot of damage though. So
Can you not?
can only be hit like a couple more times. Oh, he's got elixirs. He's fine. I'd put the elixir on. There it is. Yeah, you're chilling. 69 HP. Calculated.
Calculated. Absolutely blew my mind when I discovered that the 1/6 of your health can be a damage type from either a cut type enemy or a hit type enemy.
That's normally used for the spikes, obviously.
Right, but that's the cut version. Who is running around knocking Alucard around for his 1/6 of his HP? It has to be the like when he's stoned, right? Like when he
does he take 1/6 when he's stoned, or does he just lowers his defense? I actually don't know.
It's literally 1/6 of his health. So if you get stoned and you get hit 6 times, you die.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's something I never knew. But that's also because that's something that you discover by being bad at the game. And like, I'm sorry, I haven't been like.
God, can you imagine being bad at this game?
That's like something that happens to somebody on their like first playthrough. It's once you realize that you can wiggle out of being stoned before you're even like vulnerable, like you just never get hit again.
Well, you can wiggle out of being stoned before the fairy can use her hammer. That's how bad it is.
Exactly.
Like if I could improve the time in which she uses her hammer, I would absolutely do that. Just speed up the animation.
Yeah, something like that. Well, there's the Vlad relic, and unfortunately, the early second castle decision was like decent, but the placement of the relic just happened to be such that Dirtdrag didn't one extra check in the second castle, and is not that far behind, and already has all the Vlad relics. So I think it's going to come down to: does Ren have enough time to miracle like Hail Mary, go directly to Medusa, and then right afterwards go to the clock room? Like, is it on the way to the clock room? I doubt it.
I'm looking at Renan at the map tracker that Dirtdrag has up here. They are in the caverns.
No, because the castle keep directly links to Marble Gallery, so it's fucking over. It's GG's.
Castle.
Because then you just go straight to Marble Gallery, and that Marble Gallery link, it's pretty far, but it is to Marble Gallery. It's directly there. It's either that or you warp to Alrox's quarters, maybe. Because if you warp to Alrox's quarters, that links up to Marble Gallery from the bottom, which is faster, actually. Yeah, so you could warp to warp to Alrox's quarters, then use the Colosseum location to warp directly to the final chamber.
Yeah, I think that Dirtdrag still has this because I'm looking at where Medusa is, and Renantrel has to go so many different places before he even gets there. Like minimum 3 transitions between zones. So
yeah, just the layout of the castle made it tough. But to be fair, if Medusa was easy to get to from Castle Keep, they probably both would have done Medusa early on then, just from like the odds of it. So, is Dirtdrag going? The way Dirtdrag is going seems suboptimal compared to Renan's route here.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going.
Because Renan's already there. So I guess Renan just had a warp location in mind, unless they both are going to the same warp.
Outer wall.
Maybe they did go a similar route. I don't know.
I think he's headed for the warp. I think that's
Yeah,
what he's
yeah,
headed
yeah.
for.
He's definitely heading for the warp, but I just don't know if because the top leads to Colosseum. The other one was Alchemy Lab. Alchemy Lab. Did they use the same route? I wasn't paying attention. They might have done the same route.
It's possible. Like, Dare Track is not far behind Ren.
Okay, then yeah, they probably just did the same route, but Renan had just a lead in like general movement.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this should be. Yeah, because Ren has no clue where to go now.
Yeah, like he's in there thinking like,
I think he's going to Akmadon. No, he just did Akmadon.
somebody want to play the 56K modem noise for him?
Yeah, if I'm him, I'm confused where to go as well. But an hour-long leg day seed seems pretty normal, all things considered. Like fast ones can definitely be done in like 45 minutes for sure, but
Yeah.
about an hour makes sense.
Now, where do you go from here? Oh, it does go right there. Oh my. That's wild.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Leg Day Area Rando, like, it is the one that will try to fry your brain the most. And considering Renantral's position, I don't blame him for not trying to fry his brain, right? Like,
yeah. Dirtjack took the route that I suggested would be the fastest, which was yeah. Honestly, yeah. Doing too many leg day area rando seeds probably is the fastest way to, full on, brain melting out your ears level of thought.
Yeah, like at the end of even two of them, my brain's like tilt,
Yes.
factory reset.
Seed bleed is already a thing in just like SotN randos in general, but I mean it can get pretty nasty here in the in this area rando on top of that. Speaking of seed bleed, how many seeds are they playing today?
3.
They are playing 3. So there is a chance if Dirtjack goes 3-0 that it could all be over today.
That's right. But
wow.
if he doesn't, we'll be back again tomorrow.
I mean, Ren does get
I'll be back tomorrow.
I would like to be back tomorrow as well. I wouldn't mind seeing some more SotN rando fun. I mean, Ren found the final Vlad. It was a close race.
Speaking of SotN Rando fun, SymphonyRando.fun, that's how you could become as good as these gents and come join us in our races. Or you could just pick up on how to play the randomizer casually. Whichever.
Yep. Exclamation mark how to rando in my chat. Links to the website. Great resource overall. Yasutsuna as the final weapon of choice. I guess it makes sense. Like, it's good enough to one cycle, as we just saw there. Sub-hour seed. Congratulations.
GG's.
Not bad, not bad.
What a seed.
It was something. It wasn't too bad overall. Not bad at all.
It was a seed of all time.
And for like a leg day area rando, you definitely want it to go by quicker rather than slower. So sub-hour is pretty standard. Dude, that imp is getting in there. Holy. What is the demon?
Imping, yo.
The demon card just standing there, just watching it happen. Messed up. All right. We'll see what next preset they move on to after this. I'm excited to see it.
I'm going to give them about 5 minutes to reset their brains, but we're going to go ahead and ask them what preset they want to play next so that we can get that started for them.
Yeah, that'll be getting started soon.
The next race is about to begin. We got both of our racers starting off with their Richter movement.
Yep, we got Magic Mirror as the preset. I keep forgetting to start the timer on my screen. It's fine. It'll be like 10 seconds delayed.
Yeah.
But it's a good time. I like Magic Mirror a lot. It's a very stressful race preset, just because it highly is dependent on when you find the Magic Mirror and where you find it. Because it's just such a incredibly powerful relic. Being able to basically double the relic density at a press of a button is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty darn good.
The Magic Mirror preset, basically what our racers are going to be looking to do is they're going to chase complexity, complexity, complexity until they find the Magic Mirror, and then it's all about density. Whereas in other presets, you might do a little bit of density here, a little bit of complexity here. This one is all about just chase it down, get it as fast as possible, go back for everything else, because you're checking twice as many checks when you go back.
Yeah, for those that are maybe a little bit confused on the terminology, density refers to doing as many checks as quickly as possible. If you're close to a check, you go ahead and do it, regardless of what the check is likely to be. That's the idea of like doing checks for the sake of density, whereas doing checks for the sake of complexity is taking an idea of what the logic wants you to do and kind of like beelining it to a location that is beneficial because of the logic of the randomizer itself. So every rando preset has logic built in to prevent soft locks and to make sure that every preset is completable. Every single rando seed is completable. So once you've been in tuned with the randomizer long enough, you can kind of see what the logic wants from you, and then like kind of retroactively work your way backwards into like, okay, so this is where the final relic is supposed to be. That's locked by this, which means I need this relic, which is locked by this, which means I need this relic. So I should go to this location because it has a higher chance of being like an important relic kind of deal.
Yeah.
Who won last race? That was Durdrach, which means I do need to give you guys the little indicator. Forgot to do that.
Gotta give him his Varda.
I'm gonna need more Vardas if because it's oh Durdrach
The
with
quick grab.
The quick grab that doesn't matter because there's no slowdown, but it was hot. It was pretty dope. Another very important part of this preset is this warp is open and it also connects to the outer wall location by default. Not knowing that lost me many races. But it's fine, you know, as long as they don't keep patching the randomizer. Eventually I'll learn everything, eventually. Maybe.
Stop patching the randomizer in this economy?
Yeah. My favorite was the realization when I found out that the connection point, the clock tower connection point was patched. I was like, why are you going that way? It's blocked off. And then it wasn't actually blocked off. And I was like, ah!
They patched it!
It was just the combination of like me relearning this preset like 4 different times and then being like, you know what? It's over for me, man. I'm never going to learn. Finding Cube of Zoe there is pretty nice. I actually am a big fan. They also found money in, they found a garnet there. So pretty chill start, pretty good start. They're pretty much neck and neck at this point.
I'd be checking that lantern above the Durons.
Oh, true. Yeah, that is a single-use item that infinitely respawns, so it could be a useful one. I would mist jump to the left. I'm crazy like that, though.
Okay.
Yeah, the fact that they're not doing a mist rise up and to the left to skip this section, that's what I would have done. Me, armchair quarterback, watching them race while I don't have to do any of the inputs. Yeah, why don't you just mist rise all the way to like the thing and then win the game? Duh.
Ooh, missed by Renantrel there.
Oh wait, they're smarter than me because then they're doing this first. Oh, because then if I mistrise the other way, oh, but neither of them get it because they don't have enough MP.
Yikes!
Interesting. It doesn't matter. Power of Mist in the shop.
Power
no,
of Mist.
I would have won.
Every time.
Never mind. I would have won.
Every time.
Because I would have checked this first, and it would have been Power of Mist, and then I would have been able to do the other check easy peasy. Huge.
Like it's always like this though. Every time you can out of logic fairy card really easy, it never matters.
The worst is when you have like Leapstone and you end up doing the flea ladder. You're just dive kicking off of the flea riders all the way up to the Power of Mist location, and then you check the Leapstone location, and it's like gravity boots, and you're like, man, I didn't need to do this. It was cool though.
Like every time I've done the pacifist run fairy card with 0 relics check, every time I've done it, Soul of Bat is on the same layer. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. That one is it takes a long setup.
It's a bit
too.
of a setup. Yeah.
A missed opportunity, if you will. Chat. Keep doing what you're doing.
Mods, crush a skull.
No, they're fine. They're fine. I do also like finding mist early because that does mean that like you just get to do the
Ooh.
Soul of Bat check. Uh-oh. Don't get blocked out. And okay.
Oh,
There was a chance that item was about to disappear if he didn't grab it quick enough. So that's
yeah.
actually huge. Do not sit here and farm for a second one, you greedy motherfucker.
Why even stop and farm? You can just Chrysogrim through them all. Oh, it's a stone. Oh, Jesus Christ. Lucky
Either way,
Ren.
no, guys, look, they're tied. Look at the screen. They're tied. They're in the same room. They're tied. It's fine. Okay, one maybe has a weapon that is set to kill on sight, but it's fine.
Yeah, he's just eviscerating every boss that he comes across from now on. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. The Gamba's closed, right? Okay, thank God. Thank God. Nothing in there of value, so, just get in, get out. Yeah, Ren already starting to extend the lead. Ooh-wee. Well, there's still a chance. Drac could get a little lucky here because we don't know which weapon or which enemy dropped the Chrysogrim, right? Did you happen to see it? Was it the Flea Man?
I believe it was the Flea Armor.
Okay.
I believe it was the Flea Armor.
Okay, because Flea Armor has a different drop table from Flea Man, which has a different drop table from obviously the Durons, but yeah, it doesn't get it there. If it's Flea Armor, that was I think their last chance to get it. Unfortunate.
Unless they were playing Looking Glass. No, wait.
I mean, Chrysogrim is like, it's not even that. It's like, it's okay, I guess. There are other S tier weapons that are possible to find. So that Chrysogrim is a early buff for sure, but it doesn't necessarily mean that advantage is going to stay the whole time. Duplicator plus throwables could make it obsoleted. A Vorpal Blade alone is like decent enough, Ooh, but
what I'm banking on is I'm actually banking on Deirdrak winning on routing.
It's possible.
If he takes this, it'll be a routing based win.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not going to be able to fight that combat unless like you said, Duplicator plus throwables. That kind of shenanigans.
Yeah. Jewel of Open found. They're both going to be finding it here.
But which way do you go? Do you go straight to Silver Ring because you can, or do you go down?
I think you go to the Castle Keep, grab the warp, maybe with a save split, and then... Or actually, immediately save split, then do Silver Ring check. If it's nothing, go back. Just revert. If it is something, you just backtrack, and then you warp to Outer Wall to get to the caverns, probably. Because the idea is you just want to find the magic mirror immediately, and you can do every check in the game, essentially, with Mist, Power of Mist, outside of the stuff that's locked behind very specific relics. But movement-wise, it might not be fast, but you can do all the checks. So might as well just go straight to caverns.
Allow me to counteroffer. If Silver Ring is nothing, you revert to your save state and you do your teleports.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something, you drop down and do alchemy on your way to the caverns.
You can, yeah, because that is like flight locked, but like the odds of Jewel of Open and the
Something
mirror
else.
Being on the same layer is low, because ultimately I don't care what that something else is. It could be Bat for all. I don't care about Bat. I just want the mirror, because I'll find Bat eventually, and I'll be finding other stuff alongside finding Bat. So my eyes is you basically just chase complexity as much as you possibly can. I wouldn't even do these checks, to be honest.
Yeah,
I would just grab the warp.
I wouldn't bother with these.
Yeah, I would just grab the warp and just do these later. But either way, Leapstone is found. That's a nice one, though.
Yeah, Leapstone is the efficiency relic, right? It's the one that's like, okay, yeah, I'm not the most amazing now that you already have flight, but I'm going to make everything feel better.
Thank you, Techo, for the tier 3, by the way. 13 months of support. Much appreciated. Hi, Joel Storms in chat. Thank you very much. Yeah, it does help with efficiency for sure. I mean, it helps with movement everywhere. Like, front slides are obviously, like, fun. They're fast to do in a lot of places. And also just, like, extra height that isn't relying on magic, that isn't relying on slowly creeping up in mist form is definitely nice.
So here we see Renantrel doing the hard save. probably going to do exactly what we were just talking about, where,
Yeah.
you know, he's just going to jump to silvering. You
Yep.
want to go to the highest complexity location you can at all times.
Yep. For sure, for sure. That means he's skipping the card, the ghost card, right? We didn't see him do that.
I don't think we saw him do that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Ooh, Durdrak, on the other hand, opting to either open this warp and then go? No, just is warping immediately. So is chasing complexity more linearly? No, actually doing a more density route, it seems. Trying to check the other flight locations in Alchemy Lab and stuff. I have a hard time. Oh, well, maybe with a save split for entrance?
This is hard to justify, though, because, like, okay, you can do this one save split. You can go to Spirit Orb. You can take care of that check. You can go to Entrance, take care of that check, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time justifying this, though, because we did find Jewel of Open. Like you said, Jewel of Open opens up so many things. It's really hard to believe that that's not your complexity for that level.
Yeah, exactly. And what's the minimum complexity again for this?
6.
6?
Same as Nimble.
I guess there is possibility for shared complexity layers then, but I don't know. At the very least, I think you just go to the highest complexity location you can with a save split like Ren is doing. Like, I think this route is... I mean, it has the potential to pay off big time, and you kind of need that in a preset like this, because it really just... Getting the Magic Mirror early is all that matters, really. It's so important. And if this is Magic Mirror, it's kind of like GG's. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
And it is. Right there it is.
It's so yucky.
Congratulations, everybody. GG's. We're just going to go ahead and move on to the next match. And
That's so hard to come back from. And this is... I said it at the beginning. It felt like the correct play. Obviously, like, it works out, just, you know, randomly works out. And it's not impossible for Durdrak to, like, get that relatively early. But think about this. All of the time spent doing this check in Alchemy Lab, it's like, yeah, Ren isn't doing that check right now, but Ren will be able to do that check and the Beelzebub check at the same time. It just makes it so much more efficient later on.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, before we found out that the mirror was there, Durdrak actually had a pretty reasonable route going for himself, because while Renontril was skipping ahead, trying to guess the next layer of complexity or guess 3 layers of complexity ahead, he, you know, Durdrak could have accidentally uponned the magic mirror, you know.
Yeah,
like,
at a lower level or something, yeah. Or just like at a shared complexity layer.
Exactly. We lowered the complexity from 8 to 6 because we were like, we're not seeing magic mirror early enough in a lot of these seeds. And so that's why it's such a low complexity preset.
Ooh, unless you die.
Please don't die.
No. Oh, wait, it gets rid of the poison effect. Okay. Whew.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Because if he stayed poisoned and he got hit by the halberd there, I think he still, like, is 1 hit away from dying.
Yeah.
Also, imagine dying with Chrysogrim in your hands. Come on, bro. I'm glad you didn't, because that would have been a bad look for everybody.
Yeah, really. We were like, oh yeah, we always talk so highly about this community, and he died from being poisoned.
With a Chrysogrim in his hand. Yeah, the whole community would have looked bad. Heart of Vlad acquired, you know. Nice to have, for sure, but not, you know. It's no magic mirror. Library card, it's cool and all, but it's no magic mirror. Oh, hey, MP refill. Nice.
Yay!
One of the best additions to the randomizer is the MP max ups, by far. Big fan. Get those heart max ups out of here. Boo.
All I can say is that I programmed the entire thing myself, and I made the sprite.
Hey, I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Like, we had the discussion about what kind of sprite we were going to make, and I was like, I was thinking about using the MP max-ups from Order of Ecclesia. So that's what we did. I had to redraw it by hand, but I did it.
Wasn't the MP max-up sprite later found to just be like an unused asset in the game after you already did all that? That's so funny.
But I like this one better. It feels better.
It also has a more unique look to it, where I feel like the MP max-up that was unused, it looks way too similar to the HP max-up. Like, they use the same, like, rainbow effect, and, like, the shape is slightly different, but...
A lot of people probably would have just seen rainbow, skipped over it, you know.
Yeah. It's better at, like, quickly evaluating what it is, because it looks drastically different. Um, man, what do? What do? Oh, you're in the caverns. I mean, this is the correct play, but you're just going to find Spikebreaker, and it's going to be like, oh, it's going to hurt so bad.
Mm-hmm. You're going to follow this long chain.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Renangel is just doing every check.
I mean, because as we said, like, it was a very strong play for sure, and he got rewarded, but he did also get lucky to a certain extent as well. Like, it wasn't guaranteed that that high complexity location had to be the mirror by any means, but it was, like, in my mind, a higher percentage chance, and in Ren's mind, like, he is a very smart, calculating rando player. He has so much experience in the randomizer as a whole. I'm sure in his mind, he might not be able to tell you the technical, like, oh, I'm skipping these layers by doing this, et cetera, et cetera. He's probably like, I played this seed, or I've played this preset a bunch. I've seen Magic Mirror be at this location a lot of times, so I'm just going here.
Yeah. Like, whenever I unlock Flight, first place I go is Spirit Orb, because it's the new location to have Flight as an access point. It's one of my favorite shortcuts in the game, so...
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, the only way I can see... I'm trying to think of a world where Caverns is going to have Soul of Bat.
Mm-hmm.
And Ren is going to have to just not choose to go to the Caverns anytime soon for like the next 40 minutes or something like that. But the seed might be over by then. So I don't even know if that's possible. Like this, I don't think... Well, I guess it technically can be Soul of Bat if we find like Bat into Echo, into Spikebreaker vanilla location or something. Or it could just be random Bat. That's also a possibility, and Bat might not be in the complexity chain at all.
Or you know, Ren's controller can die,
True.
or the sun can shine in his eyes, a meteor can fall from the sky.
These are options. Yep. Sometimes your win condition is, you know, Sephiroth shows up.
Yeah.
Activates the Earth's defense mechanism, and, you know, giant kaijus come out of the ocean.
Somebody decides to throw a gender reveal, you know, anything.
God forbid. God forbid. Gravity Boots is a nice find. That, in complexity terms, that could have been Bat. So, like, Gravity Boots and Bat are, like, completely interchangeable in this scenario. So, unfortunate for Durdrak, but yeah, Ren's just freaking smooth sailing here.
I almost feel bad for Durdrak because, like, he got the win, and now, because of one skipped check, which this happens to him all the time, he skips one check and it ruins his entire day. I feel bad for him because, like, this now means that he has to come back tomorrow.
I mean, if this leads to a W, yes, no matter what. I mean, that's good for fans of SotN. That means one more day of tournament gaming. But yeah, dude, remember when he got the Chrysogrim drop too? Like, we forgot. I mean, I'm sure plenty of people in chat didn't forget, but like, dude, come on, man. You're going to get a random Chrysogrim drop and also like do a crazy deep complexity check, which, I mean, we both agreed at the time was probably the correct play. Like, I was hypothesizing that play pretty much as soon as Power of Mist was found. Jewel of Open was found.
Especially, like, you get Mist and you get Jewel of Open. The first thing in your head is, ooh, Silver Ring?
Dude, and then Echo is there. Oh, that sucks. Seeing Echo of Bat before Soul of Bat, to me, always feels like, oh, Soul of Bat is probably
and he has Flight, too, which means that this could potentially be, like, you know, down here, this Holy Glasses somehow, and then it, you know, second castle, Spikebreaker. Ugh.
Yeah, it's a rough one. The other thing that's always tricky about Magic Mirror seeds is that you can use the Magic Mirror to skip some complexity checks that are like built into the game. For example, Merman Statue. Merman Statue is still considered a progression relic, even though you don't necessarily need it if you have the Magic Mirror. So there are often times where once I find the Magic Mirror, I try to prioritize going to the caverns if I haven't found Merman Statue yet, specifically to try and do yet another complexity skip for a chance to try and get like Final Vlad access. But
I mean, when you're doing that though, right? Like, so here's the crazy thing about caverns. Caverns, once you get Magic Mirror, Caverns is actually literally the best place that you can go. Because Galamoth Granfaloon, Doppelganger Forticilla, Force of Echo, and Holy Symbol, all of those are double checks. That's 6 checks right off the cuff. Not to mention all the checks that are just in Caverns, like Merman Statue and Spikebreaker. So it's like, and Demon Card. So you're sitting there, you're like, oh my god, Caverns is loaded.
It's pretty good. And, you know, I know you're a Succubus skipper, but that's another one on top of that. So that's 7.
Yeah.
No.
And then Death.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11 total checks.
Yeah.
That's... The density there is wild. Yeah, you should probably prioritize going Caverns as early as possible. And, like, picking up, I guess, warps along the way, and then backtracking from there.
Get the Magic Mirror, go to Caverns, bonks.
Pretty much. Starting with Sypha, we're not just speedrun.
Get the zoner out of the way. Get the zoner out of the way.
Speedrun one category that fights. Just speedrun all bosses, man. You got it. You got to start with Grant, because then you push Grant into Trevor, and Trevor then leads into Sypha, and it's so much faster. Otherwise, you're having to chase Grant around the room. Rando players don't know jack about efficiency, man. You can route 12 billion complexity presets and stuff like that, but as soon as you have to do one boss efficiently, it's over.
God, and it's even better when you get Shield Rod with Alucard Shield, because then it's like Grant barely has a chance to run into Trevor when he dies, and then Trevor's like, and then you jump up into Sypha. Oh, it's so clean.
That's what I'm saying, man. Sometimes you can learn a thing or two from just actually speedrunning the darn game. Yeah, you're not allowed to play Randomizer until you've mastered ABRSR. Exactly. You have to speedrun 200.6% glitchless.
Hold on. Does getting world record in NMG count? Because I think that I should be disqualified for that.
That's fair enough, yeah. Hey, submitting a speedrun that does a lot of stuff, good enough. Good enough. NMG is an interesting speedrun. It's probably the starter speedrun of this game, TBH.
Yeah.
Because like glitchless, I think is a little too difficult. Because this game actually does require a certain level of just mastery in order for glitchless to be a smooth experience.
That's right.
Just because like the most efficient way to beat the game is like fist combat, which not many people are going to be comfortable with if they're not super comfortable with the game as a whole. No major glitches, gives you all the Alucard gear, but then on top of that, you don't have to worry about performing frame perfect map buffered setups or anything like that.
That's right.
Learning by speedrunning takes too long. These people have thousands of hours playing the randomizer. What do you mean?
True.
They're just spending their time not learning the game, but just gambling over and over again. Oh, dang it.
And getting unqualified boners like that.
Yeah.
You ever get an unqualified boner?
I mean, I've had a couple of out of logic boners, but I think we've all been there. No, I'm not saying you need to get world record, but it's just an understanding of like, this is one thing that speedrunning and randomizer do kind of fit together. Oh, there's the Spikebreaker found. Rough. It was the next step. It was literally the next step in the complexity level. Oh, that's rough. But
I'm not going to lie. You posted that in the Discord, and it's not untrue. It is absolutely true. They are interconnected. There is a definitive connection between the speedrunning community and the randomizer community.
Specifically randomizer racers, I would say. Because there's plenty of people, I'm sure, out there that are just like doing, no tracker, casual, just like playing through the game with randomized relics or whatever.
Yeah, but like even then, like how do they find out about these things?
That is true.
Speedrunners.
Yeah.
Speedrunners streaming the races, streaming the tournaments. Otherwise, the word does not get out.
That is true, yeah. Things. That is very true. I think there is an interconnection to them, and like being a speedrunner does not guarantee that you are a good randomizer player by default.
It makes you better, though.
It does make you better. Because there are going to be moments where you're able to execute on ideas without having to think about them. You don't have to think about your movement nearly as much because a lot of the same skills transfer over.
Duplicator drop for Dare Drac.
The worst part is it's not going to matter. He's still way too far behind, but that's hype as hell. A Crissagram drop and a duplicator drop in the same seed?
Meanwhile, Renachel is taking on my favorite shortcut.
It's a good one. I do love the map changes in here in Magic Mirror. The added
Magic
shortcuts.
Mirror's map changes they felt more natural than Aperture, right?
Aperture definitely felt like, okay, we need to create barriers, otherwise the seed will be way too open. Where the ones in Magic Mirror feel like, okay, these are just like here for convenience sake, which is nice.
Yeah.
But also there are things blocked off that aren't like, they don't feel too bad. Like missing out on Spirit Orb, for example, doesn't feel like that bad, all things considered, because the Magic Mirror, once you find it, everything becomes accessible for the most part.
That's right.
And then the whole preset, is revolving around that. So it has its gimmick, but like it does its gimmick very well, for sure.
And like missing out on Fairy Scroll, okay. But, that was one of 5 layer zeros.
Yeah, exactly.
Ghost Card was one of like 7 flight.
It also makes library skips a little bit better, oftentimes.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Like, for example, if you find the first progression relic at like Outer Wall chilling in the elevator, you can be like, oh, I'll come back for library later.
Yeah. Like every single one of these presets that we design is another lesson in game design.
Oh, for sure.
Either from a perspective of we got this one right or we got this one wrong, or here's what we got wrong and right about this one. Like each and every single one of them delivers a new experience for players and gives us an opportunity to learn and expand on our roster of skills. So
yeah, this is definitely, out of like the most recent presets to come out, this one's one of them for sure. Like I'm trying to think, is there a newer preset that isn't based off of Magic Mirror, but you know what I mean? Is it the most recent one?
I think that Beyond is the next youngest.
Yeah.
That is in more of the ROM hack style heavily modified vein. Brawler came out, but it's not very heavily modified, right?
That's
like,
what I'm thinking of. Brawler is technically the newest, but before then, I believe it was this one.
Yeah. Because like Skinwalker, which used to be Druid, it was an older preset because it was a derivative of Aperture. The only reason why it got released now is because it was no longer considered as derivative once we attached the Wanderer extension to it.
Yeah.
Oh. But it was still technically an older preset. So
I mean, there's plenty of presets that are like this preset, but with like one small change or 2 small changes or whatever. That happens for sure. 2 Asafune katanas, but no duplicator drop. Very funny for Renan here.
Once we do the website redesign, though, we're going to be able to remove some of those. Like we're going to be able to remove we're going to remove Expedition. So that we can keep Crash Course, and then we're going to remove Grand Tour so that we can keep Adventure. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, it's like one of those things where just having a checklist of I want these randomization options with this check location extension, and then you just like pick and choose from there. And then there are going to be presets that are just pre-checked versions of those with names, but then there will be some that don't have names necessarily or whatever.
Exactly. Like we for the sake of having something where you don't have to have the checkbox and stuff showing, because on the website as it exists, you can't use Lycanthrope with adventure checks, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist.
And that's like how a lot of other randomizers do it as well. Like I'm thinking the Aria Rando is like, you can tweak every individual setting, or you can just click the preset box at the beginning that does that for you, essentially.
Yeah. And so we want to move away from removing those as options. We want people to race Lycanthrope with adventure checks. We want people to, have access to Aperture on Tourist.
Yeah, customize it a little bit more to their liking.
Yeah.
Dude, the difference is staggering. 30 minutes to get Magic Mirror versus, like, when did Ren get it? Like 10 minutes in?
Yeah. And like, Ren has 2 extra Vlad's and 1.5 million extra progression relics.
Yep. That's still not found for either player.
I'm gonna say that one's in Second Castle, to be honest.
Yeah, it might be, and it might be that it locks the ring, the other ring that Renan is missing, perhaps, or it could be mermaid stat. There's like a lot of different ways that the logic could lean, but
yeah.
But I'm in agreeing that my vibe right now is Bat in second castle.
Which is really unfortunate because, like, you know, earlier we were talking about, you know, maybe Bat is in first castle. Once you get Bat and Mirror, everything becomes so much faster. Like, you're just zip over here. Oh, not a relic I like. Go to the second castle version of this place. Oh, that's a relic I like.
Yeah. Dude, if Bat was found early for Drac too, like, plus the duplicator.
Could have been huge.
Could have been huge. Yeah, so that's one of the things that always is like, it makes the way that the random items fit together in SotN so interesting, is that there are items and weapons and situations that require a combination of things to come together to actually be good. Like, I've had plenty of seeds where I find a duplicator early, but then I don't find Bat until like the last 5 minutes, or I never find like a library card with my duplicator, or I never find a mana prism with my duplicator. So you just need that combination for it to be as maximized as possible for its benefit. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we found the duplicator, it's crazy, but is it actually crazy unless you find all that other stuff too?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next presets that are going to be launched. They're already on dev.soten.io. We've got First Castle, which literally puts every single useful or important relic in First Castle. And then we've got Lucky Sevens, which has a very unique combination of things.
Gotcha.
So
sounds interesting. I had a couple people in my comment section during the playing through every randomizer preset. They were asking about the possibility of, for the larger check extensions, instead of forcing every single one of those locations to be like a random chance, that there's some sort of way to inform the player. You still use all of those check locations, but then you have some way to inform the player that out of the 69 possible checks, for example, these 11 checks, or I guess, how many checks are there in the game normally? 20?
There's 28 in Classic.
Yeah. So, for example, out of the 69 possible, or out of the 128 possible, these 28 are the ones that do actually like show up on the tracker or have some sort of menu that tells you where they are somehow. So you know those are the locations to check, but you just don't know where anything is, if that makes sense.
No, not really. Because, like, the tracker should work with Wanderer, right? Like, it should work with Wanderer just fine. The only preset that the tracker does not work with, and we're talking about the 2.0.1 version of the tracker, is Glitch. Like, Glitch, for some reason, because of the aliasing, it's really weird and wonky, but Tourist and Wanderer should work in the tracker so long as you keep your preset folder updated in the tracker and all that.
So the idea was, like, creating a new preset idea that has... So, how do I explain this properly? The idea is there are 128 checks possible, for example, and then it shuffles them up, randomizes to specific locations, whatever. And then at the beginning of the seed, out of those 128, the player is then informed, hey, you don't actually need to check all 128. Out of those possible locations, these are the 28 that actually showed up. So it shuffles up where you need to go, but instead of forcing you to do all of those checks, you know that these are the important check locations, but you just don't know which relic happens to be in that check location, if that makes sense.
We were considering, actually, we're not actually considering it, we're planning a preset where you don't know what relic you're getting.
Oh. Mystery relic, okay.
Yeah, we're planning well, it's not going to be a preset. It's going to be an option that you can enable where it replaces all of the relic sprites with the same sprite. I was thinking of using Now Makes. We've seen other recommendations for, like, the treasure chest, the 5K chest, those kinds of things. But, like, you know, basically all of them would share the exact same sprite, and you would end up checking, like, okay, do I go check this for the chance that it's the thing that I need, or do I leave it there because it might just be a card?
Did Renan just save split away his Soul of Bat? He just split away his Soul of Bat.
He split it away.
Huh?
I saw it too.
Pourquoi?
He does not care.
That's wild to me. He's fighting Cerberus again. I think he maybe thought he safe split earlier. What is?
I don't know.
He's
fighting death now. I guess.
Why fight Cerberus when you could just fight death? What's going on? I think he might be shook because he thought he safe split at the start of the catacombs, but he didn't.
Maybe.
But also, why safe split away bad? That's
I would not have safe split away bad, but that's me.
I would have went straight to Spikebreaker right afterwards. What? He lost his ring too. Oh, it's right there. He's fine. He got the ring.
Jesus.
Wait, that means he's not checking.
This is an absolute mess.
That means he's not checking Spikebreaker, which I think is a possible misplay.
So weird.
Because Bat and Echo were both found Bat was found after second.
I don't know how I feel about this.
He might be throwing. There is a chance that the progression, because it seems like split possible progression paths from this perspective, because the ring was found in the second castle and Bat was found in the second castle. Both of them split off into two different locations. Either the Holy Glasses is the next location, or Spikebreaker is the next location, or the third option, they're both progressions somehow, where one leads to a random Vlad, the other one leads to like Merman Statue, for example. Maybe Renan is aware of that and is like, oh, but I don't need a Merman Statue. I can just do it out of logic.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's definitely possible. Maybe he's reading like 3 steps ahead. Maybe he's 4 parallel universes ahead of us, and we just, we're too plebeian, and
he might just be doing the thing where he's like, I've played the randomizer 10 billion times. I've seen the final Vlad show up here a lot. I'm just going to go check.
Yeah, he's doing his Dr. Manhattan thing.
He already checked Spikebreaker? Oh, never mind. I wasn't paying attention. I got owned by facts and logic. Unfortunate.
Jesus. I can't imagine being owned by facts and logic. Why would I do that to myself?
Soul of Wolf. I mean, it's nice to have. Ooh, but it's nothing. So that means, yeah, Final Vlad, I think, has to be behind... Wait. How does this work? You said this complexity 6.
Minimum 6, yeah.
Minimum 6. So it was Mist, then Power of Mist, then Jewel of Open, then Spikebreaker, then Mirror, then Glass. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, they're fine.
All right.
So I think this is a 7 complexity seed. I'm pretty sure because now it's just rings into Final Vlad at Holy Glasses.
Holy Glasses.
Yep.
Not bad.
Okay. Whew.
Not bad.
It's 6. This one is 7 specifically.
Unless Crazy knows something about whatever relic chain it is that we don't.
No, I think he's just saying the minimum is 6.
There's some shoes. Got to get those Nike Air Jordans on so you can jump super high.
Mm-hmm.
Drac is cheating. That elevator looked fucked up. Yeah, we're not worried about that. We're using the NMG rule set for this tournament, so.
Power of Mist was 1? Oh, yeah, Power of Mist and Mist were on the same layer. My bad.
Yikes.
True.
I have Vlad at Darkwing.
Wait, Ren didn't do Darkwing Bat? That's like one of the first things you do.
When there's trouble, you call DW.
What the? I mean, both rings are going to need to be found like immediately. Where was Silver Ring? Because Gold Ring was death.
Silver Ring was super early in the seed.
Was it like
trying to remember.
Beelzebub or something?
Like, it was stupid early. I don't think it was bees. I think it was before bees.
Because... Oh, dude. Because that's the other thing, is if Final Vlad is at Holy Glasses, that's right next to the end of the game. And routing-wise, that is pretty powerful.
Pretty fucking choice.
And the thing is Ren is going to probably go check that after doing Succubus. which means that Ren is going to have 4 out of the 5 Vlads, but not in the most efficient possible route, which does leave Durdrak open to finding possibly both rings by that point in time.
Could we see the Juggernaut comeback from Durdrak here?
It's technically possible, but I don't know. Especially when you're all the way chilling here in the catacombs. I mean, that means Durdrak's going to find Bat, though. Actually, now that I think about it. Which, at this point in the seed, I don't know if Bat is going to be enough, even with infinite mana. But maybe.
Maybe?
It just depends on where that silver ring was.
It does give him a maneuverability thing, right? Because, like, okay, so we talk about falling is faster than flying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have Bat, though, like, you're given a lot more options for mobility that you don't have if you don't have Bat. Yeah. Especially when you can just transfer to second castle because this area is barren and empty of enemies. Go fast.
Now the question is, gravity boots faster than falling? I don't think so. I think falling is still faster, right?
Yeah, falling is still way faster.
Yeah. I forget the actual movement pixel per frame data. I at one point did know, but that was years ago. Yeah, Renan about to get the complexity Vlad here. Durdrak finally finds Soul of Bat, which is a nice find for sure.
Always good.
It's nice to have, for sure. I think that teleport was unnecessary, right? That Durdrak just did? Because, like, Galmoth despawns, and you need to go through the castles either way twice, so it's just an extra one that you didn't need to do.
Yeah, there was no reason to do that.
Yeah. Like a slight misplay, you know, costs like 5 seconds to warp between castles. Maybe less, probably like 3 seconds. Yeah. Hey, we get to see the randomized Wing Smash trail. That one's pretty nice.
I like that one. It's very minty. Speaking of preset knowledge, did you know that you can technically get into the caverns with just mirror?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, you can't get there through the entrance, though. Doesn't work. Because the entrance, I locked it behind a transformation, but the one place I didn't lock it behind...
Marble Gallery.
...was over... Yeah, Marble Gallery.
Yeah, because the switch is it's flipped in the second castle. So...
Well, you can get it... You can get
I've
there,
played.
But you have to be able to transform or fly in order to be able to get in there. But you don't have to if you go to the Ouija table on the other side of the entrance to the caves.
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, that shortcut's open as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played Portrait of Ruin, and yes,
so
switching between the characters is faster with slides. That it's the fastest movement that you can get early game.
Know about it first.
We're in the middle of a tournament match here, so
chat.
I probably won't be directly answering more chat messages, but, you know, hey, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. Sorry, I missed that. A chatter was asking me a very specific question.
No worries.
And I'm like, hey, Portrait of Ruin's cool and all, but also, we got a tournament match to talk about. And this all comes down to... I mean... Oh, no, it's over.
Yeah.
Okay, I looked away to answer the question. By the time I look back, Renan gets the Tooth of Vlad. Not Tooth of Vlad, sorry. The ring? The eye? One of them that was locked behind Darkwing Bat. And is now guaranteed to find the last one here. It was still relatively close, all things considered. But yeah, the difference between finding mirror early versus finding it later just made such a huge difference.
I mean, we mentioned it at the beginning of the seed, right? Like, that's the pressure in the seed is, do I find the mirror first? If I don't find the mirror first...
Yeah, I mean, it really, the whole preset revolves around it. There's Final Vlad, and then also getting the Final Vlad, like I said, in the most convenient location. 45 minutes to find all 5 Vlads and be right next to the end of the game. Probably looking at like a 46, 47-minute finish here, especially with Chrysogrim. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty fast seed. I mean, Magic Mirror has the potential for fast seeds for sure, but this one in particular, quite fast.
Yeah. It's nowhere near Breach, but it's up there.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, teleporting into the cutscene with the statue moving, the clock room already moving around. So, yeah, it'd be like that.
So
Chat,
right
does
now
anybody
our
remember
racers,
where gold or silver ring was? I'm so confused. I forgot.
yeah, where was Silver Ring? Do we know?
I'm sure somebody remembers. Surely. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty big GG's. Well, it's not in First Castle, it seems. According to the tracker that Durjack just opened up.
Yeah.
Checking the second castle tracker. It's like creature or something. Or trio.
I think it was Forbidden Library, maybe?
Crazy is saying it's trio. So
It's Trio?
I trust Crazy.
Okay.
That
Yes,
makes sense,
it was
'cause it was
Trio
pretty early
because we were
on.
making fun of him
Yeah.
for doing it wrong.
I mean, he definitely... I'll still make fun of him for doing it wrong. He might be winning right now. I can't help but take my little pop shots from the commentator's booth, all right?
Comments from the peanut gallery.
I'm not saying I would beat this seed faster. I'm not saying that. That fight, though, hand me the controller at that moment, I'd probably finish maybe a second faster. Hey, in that 1 second, it totally matters. Kind of. Maybe. Either way, let's give him his Varda. He's earned it.
Yeah, like, I don't see where he doesn't win this. Dracula is literally the easiest boss in SotN.
GG's. Another
Good.
seed Dunzo. Close. Very close. And Durjack was on his way to getting that second ring, but killer showing from Renan. So, hey, it's 1-1, and we are seeing one more race today, and then they are going to be finishing up these finals tomorrow. But that means more days of racing, more tournament action, even more tournament action today.
The ones who win the tournaments are not the racers, the audience.
Oh yeah, more SotN is a win for us. That's all that matters.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and find out what they want to race next and get them started.
Heck yeah. It looks like they're about to be getting into it here in a second here. Beyond is the preset of choice in this game number 3. You know, what can we say about Beyond other than it's the randomizer, but more?
Beyond is one of the presets that I did not make in this tournament. You know, obviously it's nice to have the recognition of, oh yeah, he's the guy that made this preset, that preset, this preset. Yeah, but you know what? I also like showcasing the other things that the rest of the community members have made. This one happened to be made by Weecock and Forat Negre, who you know, they just kind of said, hey, we made a preset, and I was like, this is really good. So
Oh, it's a good one for sure. I'm a big fan of all of the new items added, the new relic, the castle key. It is pretty centralizing, in my opinion, because we like to say that Beyond is like, you know, a normal-ish randomizer with new items, but that castle key relic makes a big difference. Access to warps, because all warps are essentially shut off until you get the castle key, and then once you have the castle key, all the warps are available, and you can warp around the castle at will. Like, that makes such a big difference in routing, especially if you're used to like, oh, I got to grab this warp because then I'm going to come back here later for a different check. It's like, no, like, you're not guaranteed to do that.
not only that, but like, you don't need to grab warps once. So like, if you go up towards Coliseum, you don't need to go through Olrock's past the Blade and Hammer to get there, to get the warp and come all the way back. You don't need to do that. The other side of that is that the castle key is a secondary access point to get into the abandoned mine and catacombs.
That is very true. That is very true.
So I particularly like these presets that aren't designed by me, because then for me it's something where I get to try it for the first time and be like, oh shit, this is new.
Yeah, it's the secret sauce you've been cooking up. Speaking of secret sauce, Vorpal Blade was dropped early. Both players are going to have access to it, which is quite nice. You know, no shenanigans of one person having early S tier item and the other not having it. So, and Ren choosing to immediately put it on and start, you know, backdash canceling with it, and a full save for a second one. This is some forbidden technology Fun fact, if you save the game and then reset, those enemies, those skeletons, do actually respawn. If you leave the room and come back, they don't normally respawn, but by doing the save trick, you can. And since they're playing on the fast core BizHawk, the actual save and resets are quite a bit faster. Still costing like over 20 seconds, but a second Vorpal Blade was grabbed. So will that second Vorpal Blade make up for the time difference? My guess is probably not, but it was cool.
Yeah, okay, so I remember that this came up in another race that you and I commented on, and we both have a similar complaint on it. If you have a shield can let you cancel the landing lag from high drops and, getting hit and stuff.
Yeah.
Vorpal Blades cannot do that.
Yeah, and like that does kind of make a big deal for certain rooms in particular. Like certain rooms are definitely a lot more efficient if you're able to do that land canceling stuff. So plus also, like, if you need double Vorpal Blade, have you considered just mashing faster? Like,
I mean, there is a top end of Vorpal Blade's mashing speed.
What is it actually? I don't know.
It is just barely slower than a Chrysogrim.
I'm trying to think, like, what, because if it's less than 15 hertz, then it does become more efficient to equip two. If it's 15 hertz or more,
with two Vorpal Blades, you can almost break the speed of one Chrysogrim. But with one Vorpal Blade, you get about 3/4 of the way to a Chrysogrim. So it's a significant difference for sure.
I'm gonna need to test that. Maybe it's just more comfortable to mash two different buttons as opposed to just mashing one. That could be an option. You don't have to worry about polling rate issues as much if it's polling on two different buttons instead of one. I don't know. There is just a part of me that's like, could I just mash faster and it'd be just as good as two Vorpals? Maybe. I don't know. But I do like having the flexibility of having a shield as well for, like, movement and canceling falling and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like the short hops are cute and all, but they are inherently slower than land canceling.
Yep, because time spent in the air is time not spent backdash canceling. So we do see some early bonage coming out. That is true. That is true. You love to see that if you're a boner fan here in chat. Probably the best Vlad Relic. And, I mean, yeah, that reset, like, you got an extra Vorpal Blade out of it, but, like, you lost.
How far behind are you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the beginning of the seed was also slightly in Durjak's favor just due to the prologue. Ooh, Ring of Ares as a random drop. Well, now it don't matter that you have two Vorpals, because I'm pretty sure Ring of Ares is going to out-damage two Vorpals with a single Vorpal at that point. Or it's going to be negligible.
Because the Vorpal Blade does not have a high enough attack to offset that. Yeah, but the Dainsliff... Ooh, okay, so Dainsliff gives him access to a dive kick.
There could be some out-of-logic shenanigans with that.
Are we going to see Fairy card with Dainsliff?
It's not too difficult so long as it doesn't have the limp thrust. If it has the normal thrust, it's fine.
Yeah, as long as it's not S-Talk. Ugh.
Yeah, S-Talk, dive kick is in logic for Speedrun, the Speedrun preset.
Not
but
anymore.
It's like, yeah, thank God it's not anymore. But at one point it was, and I remember there was a seed that forced that at one point, and I think it took me like maybe 15 minutes of trying before I got the trick. It's so bad. And you also need a good book pattern. Like, it makes the RNG of the books so much worse. Because there's so many workable patterns with just a normal thrust sword. But when you got that limp thrust that don't send you nowhere after you use it, it's not as good.
Yeah.
Mornblade drop as well. Not that matters, but, more drops for Durjak. Trying to make up for the fact that he didn't get the Chrysogrim last seed.
Early Spike Breaker is also kind of big because, like, now we know that any kind of, like, leap stone or form of mist, that opens up Spike Breaker right there.
Yeah, as soon as they get access to the catacombs, like, Spike Breaker is probably going to be one of those things that the players are going to choose to do.
But I had one seed where S-Talk was required in Speedrun, and I was immediately like, nope, taking it out, it's gone, no, never.
Boy, that Speedrun preset is sure is something.
But keep in mind, that's for every preset that uses Speedrun as a base, so that includes Forge and Glitch, so S-Talk no longer considered a thrust weapon by the randomizer.
And honestly, it's better for it. Because it's a thrust weapon, kinda.
With gravity boots, it sort of is.
It's really annoying to use. Like, the fact that the thrust special attack hovers you in the air is so important. And the fact that...
Yes.
Oh! We're seeing an early castle key. You love to see that. That means Spike Breaker is like one relic away from being obtainable.
Yeah.
Just need like Leap Stone or Gravity Boots. Mist might even make it possible. Granted, it'd be so annoying to get back from, but, you know, you could do some Mist Rising.
I really like early Castle Key seeds with Beyond, and I'm so thankful that every single tournament match that we've had with Beyond has had, like, early to mid Castle Key.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Castle Key is a new relic added for this preset that opens up all of the warps before acquiring the Castle Key. The warps do not work at all. You just walk into the room and the warp room is dark. It does not allow you to use the warps whatsoever. So the only way to gain access to the warps is with the Castle Key, and it opens all of them at the same time. So now the routing is going to get a lot more open. I wasn't paying too close attention to the shop. I did see Calibog, but I didn't see too much else going on here. And I think we are seeing that thrust dive kick strat here. Not high enough. A double dive kick will do it, though. Very clean. Very clean for Deirdrak.
Yeah, Deirdrak still showing off that he is probably one of the best technical players out there.
And Leviathan, hey. Pretty good. It's decent enough. Decent enough reward. Buffed up Firebrand.
Yeah, I was really sad when they didn't buff up all three of the swords. I think one of them ended up getting the shaft on that, but take what you get.
It's fine. It's close enough.
You
Ooh,
can't
Shadow
count
Cloak for 30k, though.
Ooh. If they didn't already have Spike Breaker, that would be a logic-breaking piece of equipment.
Yep, Shadow Cloak makes you immune to hit and slash damage, I believe.
That's right.
Full immunity to the most common damage types in the game is crazy. They're crazy for that one.
Yeah, like, the only downside is that if the attack has any element at all, including water, they take damage, like extra damage. But, like, how many times are you going to encounter ice damage, you know? There's 2 enemies that use it.
Oh. Ren isn't using the dive kick setup. Is instead, you have to keep jumping. Ren.
Is he cooking?
Oh, you don't have to keep jumping. I lied. I thought you had to keep jumping to keep that guy spawned in.
I thought you did too. My bad.
I am unfamiliar with your game, Ren. I'm unfamiliar with the game of Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Now, he's going to do my setup for this because this is the one that I use.
Sure. If it works, it works.
Yeah, like, just backdashing off of here puts you in the perfect subpixel.
Oh, that's not enough to big toss?
It didn't do enough. It didn't do enough damage.
That's unfortunate. Oh, it's because he has the freaking Rib of Vlad. Increases Constitution. You have to take the Rib of Vlad off if you want to do that. I would have not thought of that either. Oh my god. That would have big tossed otherwise.
Yes.
Dude.
Now, I'm not sure that it would have big tossed the correct direction because it looked like it actually sent him to the right anyway because I think he mistimed it. But still, I mean...
Yeah, that trick is very finicky.
You have to do everything just right. Like, you have to have, like, frame-perfect muscle memory or you have to map buffer it. One of those 2 things in order to get that 100%.
Yeah, there's a reason when I was doing, like, RBO runs and stuff like that require that trick, I was map buffering that. You got to respect the boner. You got to put some respect on that Vlad. And then another Vlad found. Eye of Vlad.
Yeah, you got to give it that hawk tua. Put some respect on that thing.
I was thinking it, but I didn't want to make the joke, so I'm glad you did. Thank you. Thank you. I was like trying to find a more elegant way to link them together, but honestly, just outright saying it, that works too. That works too. Attack potion found. Those are nice, you know. I mean, Vorpal is a freaking, you know, crazy attack damage regardless, but it could be useful versus like Galamoth or something. I always like to make notes when I find an attack potion or a strength potion being like, I need to remember this for Galamoth because it'll make a difference.
It makes a huge difference. That 20 points of attack from each of them, it's huge.
Yeah, because the difference between strength and attack is that attack is just a flat damage buff to the end number that shows up when you do the attack value or the attack damage to the opponent. It like obviously gets subtracted by the opponent's defense, but like it doesn't matter at that point. Just 20 extra damage per hit guaranteed versus a strength buff, which I think does a more it's like half as effective at best until you reach the strength requirement of the weapon that you're wielding, which then changes its attack value. It's a little bit more complicated, but
yeah, like I like the attack potions. I also use them against Dracula if I have them by the time I reach him. Here we see Deirdre has an Eye of Vlad. Where did he even get that?
That was Coliseum.
He got it in Coliseum. So
yeah, it was behind Miniature
Friend's
Werewolf.
About to get it.
Yeah. So they're taking the same route for the most part. I think they've done the same exact checks, except for the memorial card. I think wasn't found by Deirdre. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember seeing him go.
I would have sworn I saw him do that. But...
Did he? Okay. If he did, then that's fine. Otherwise, that would be a difference maker. I just wasn't seeing if he did it. I'm sure chat will correct me. What strength requirement in SotN? Yeah, that's a thing. So it's not a requirement. The best way to describe it is it's a very similar system to Dark Souls of all things, where every weapon in Dark Souls has like a stat requirement, but for SotN it's just strength. Strength is the only value that matters. Where your strength value needs to equal the attack value of the
better
of the weapon itself, and then you get a bonus attack value added on to that weapon. So each weapon in the game has like a strength requirement to wield it at its fullest potential, and the higher the base attack value of the weapon, the higher the strength requirement. We got a respawner.
So if you look at the weapon on the wiki, it'll tell you the normal attack if your stats are 99, but if you don't meet those requirements, then that attack is halved.
Yeah, it's like a nerfed version. It's one of the reasons why I used to think that the elemental swords were terrible, because I didn't know about the strength buff thing. Because anytime I started a rando seed with one of the elemental swords, their attack threshold is like ever so slightly set where once they hit the strength minimum, they're actually very good. But before you hit the strength minimum, they're pretty middling. Like they're like as good as like a Gladius at full potential. So I used to think that they were terrible, and then it's like, oh no, actually I was just, the strength difference actually makes a difference there.
You know, it'd be an interesting mod, and I might suggest this to Weecock Forat and Mozilla. What if we made it so that like the strength bonus actually mattered, like by changing the size of the hitbox and the duration of the hitbox on the swords?
Because that would make a huge difference if like every weapon got significantly better, or marginally changed every time.
Yeah.
Ooh, farming opals with the respawner. That's interesting. Big money for the shadow cloak. Oh, because the shadow cloak was 30k in the shop.
And opals are 8k a piece. If he finds DB Daly's hat, I mean.
Yeah. Very true, very true.
Takes the respawner off as soon as he's done.
I mean, yeah, you don't need it anymore.
True. You can put it back on if he finds a memorial,
That's true as well, yeah. Yeah, that memorial was picked up before the respawner was found, too.
But if he goes back with the respawner, the memorial respawns.
That is true, yep. It respawns as soon as you put it on. Every item in the entire game gets respawned.
Yep. Including life vessels for some reason.
He just respawned his respawner. That's crazy.
Yo, dog, we heard you like respawning.
Shadow Cloak does work on spikes. That is correct. Spikes do cut damage, and the Shadow Cloak, it makes you immune to cut damage. So,
yeah, like it's so wild to me because specifically the spikes do damage type 5-0 or 5-0, and it's like there is another damage type 7-0 that's also cut 1/6. But anyway. Just,
SotN being SotN. The more we find the internals of SotN lay bare to our plebeian eyes, the more we're like, oh, they really were just like kind of flying by the seat of their pants making this game possible.
Oh god, you should see what happens when an invalid damage type combination happens. It's hilarious.
What happens?
Okay, you know the hit state where Alucard starts cycling black and shades of gray?
Mm-hmm.
He starts doing that. He goes into a permanent hit state, maintains his momentum, and is repeatedly poisoned, and just keeps moving until he hits a wall.
That's pretty funny.
And it's a soft lock.
I was gonna say, because not to be the guy who keeps bringing up Super Metroid all the time, but in Super Metroid there is a couple of different like glitched damage values that exist because of the way that the upgrades work with Samus's firing shot, where you're not supposed to have both Spazer and Plasma on at the same time, but there are some glitches that will force you or will allow you to put both of them on at the same time, and you can like crash the game and do all sorts of crazy like arbitrary code shit with them. Just goes
Time
to
for me to warp to the credits.
just goes to show that, you know, coding video games can be quite difficult, or at the very least making them work glitchless, impossible. Glitches will be found eventually.
Yeah. Which, you know, because I found out that those damage states exist on Alucard, it entirely changed how I thought about doing the stat rando for enemies, because at first I was just going to put a random number on everything, but then I was like, oh snap, one of these kills players automatically.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone was doing arbitrary code execution in the first gen Pokemon without knowing it. Yeah, the Mew glitch is technically a form of arbitrary code execution. Not really. It's more of like a pointer manipulation, but it's like the baby steps of arbitrary code manipulation. But regardless, it's close enough.
Yeah. No, the Super Mario Brothers 3 arbitrary code execution is the one that gets me.
Yeah. One of my buddies at GDQ, GT Ace, shout outs, is fantastic Mario runner, but he was prepping for his Mario 1 run while I was practicing for my RBO run, and he was just like getting tired of like getting sub 5 minute Super Mario Bros. 1 times over and over and over again. And he's like, hey, you want to see something cool? He has his EverDrive set up, boots up Mario 3, and is like just showing us how to do the warp to the credits. And he was explaining how it's like based off of like the memory that's called in the super or inside of your NES. Like you have a random chance to just not get the credits warp or something like that. And it's also like oscillating on frames in the background where it causes it to not work. It's like so stupid. You were thinking the item dupe? The item dupe also is not technically arbitrary code execution, I'm pretty sure. I think it's also pointer manipulation, which again is, you know, the starting points of it.
I don't think that we have anything that we can really do in SotN on a player level that can start arbitrary code execution. Like maybe the Fairy's Gift glitch is kind of there, but I don't think that that's really even close.
Are you saying like in general?
Yeah.
No, SotN has Ace.
I mean, we do have Ace, but do we have players who do Ace with their hands?
Yeah. Yeah, this was done like 13 years ago. The Ace
was it the training menu stuff or?
Yeah, it uses the so what it is you set up the code via your inventory by, I forget exactly how you access the unused parts of the, like, you do some sort of glitch. I don't know the exact glitch. It has something to do with saving while the fairy is talking to you, which gives you a save corruption state that allows you to then access memory using the equipment menu. You set up your memory such that the equipment menu, you just move stuff around, you just move around random stuff in your menu, and then you talk to the shopkeeper, and then you purchase the what is it called? You purchase the demo for, I think, fighting Dracula or something like that, and then it warps you to the credits.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
And this was discovered by Sockfolder in like 2013. It's just that nobody does it because the speedrun sucks. But it is a thing that is known, and I'm not knowledgeable enough on it because I saw it and I was like, that's cool and all. I'm not learning how to do that. I want to go fast and wing smash. I want to press buttons good. I don't want to menu good. But it has been known about for a long time.
I mean, it has been said that of the Castlevania, Symphony of the Night has some of the worst menuing.
I mean, it's literally a placeholder menu that they shipped with because they didn't have enough time to make a different one.
Yeah. Like, I'm 90% sure that the menu that they wanted to go with uses the gold border versions of the sprites that they use in the main menu screen.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they wanted it to look a little bit nicer, but they did what they could.
Yeah.
So far, it looked like at the beginning they were taking very similar routes, but now, just by taking a look at the tracker, Ren is missing 2 Vlad relics. One was Tooth, which I don't remember where that was, but the Eye was at Coliseum, so he's probably on his way to Coliseum soon. They both do have Out of Logic Flight, and Soul of Bat was acquired. Okay, so that means Durdrak hasn't been to Alchemy Lab yet, for sure. Getting early
Right.
Soul of Bat is pretty important, 23 minutes in. So now all it comes down to is there's a difference in Vlad relics, but is Ren going to be able to make up enough time with this Soul of Bat before Durdrak finds Soul of Bat? Because, I mean, yeah, it's technically that's like the in-logic version of Flight, but all these out-of-logic Flight checks are also pretty dang fast, so.
Yeah, like, Mist is one of the better relics to out-of-logic Flight with, just because you can really quickly tap it and lose almost no MP most of the time and just be like, I'm doing gravity jumps.
Speaking of out-of-logic checks, we just saw Durdrak use the respawner to respawn the silver ring, giving him 2 silver rings. And you might be thinking, 2 silver rings, like, what is that going to do? Well, speaking of spaghetti code in this game, you would think,
You know what we decided to do? We decided to just program it so that it adds 1 to the value each time we equip the gold or silver ring.
well, it saves you a pointer that you need to account for, because it's just
True.
one variable that just, if this value, then you're good, as opposed to having 2 separate variables. So it's technically more efficient coding-wise, but it does lead to potential game-breaking options, such as acquiring 2 silver rings and it counting as both gold and silver rings as far as the game is concerned. And speaking of respawner doing stuff, Renan just used the respawner to grab another memorial card. And as of right now, I don't know the situation of memorial cards for Durdrak. Durdrak is heading towards the clock room, which gives him an opportunity to maybe check another. Nope, doesn't grab another memorial card, if any. So Renan definitely having more memorial cards to his name, which could matter.
Some people may be wondering, Durdrak just used an exploit of monumental proportions to get ahead on this seed by collecting both silver rings. This was actually redressed before the tournament began. I told all of the players, you are allowed to use the respawner to collect 2 rings.
Oh, for sure.
So,
I mean, it's not a glitch. It's in the preset. It's intended. I mean, it's not their fault that the game's code is made out of, SpaghettiOs.
yeah.
To be fair,
When
the game is technically working as intended.
That's right.
The game just,
When,
it's just programmed that way. It's not my fault I ended up with 2 silver rings.
you can't nail a couple of circuit boards to a tree and think that everything's going to work okay.
Oh, man. What a beautiful, beautiful video game this is. Now, the
Honestly,
question
I
is, 4 out of 5 Vlad. Sorry to cut you off. I'm just noticing Durdrak has 4 out of 5 Vlads and is possibly going to have 5 out of 5 here at the clock room check, the Hoy glasses check.
Oh man, either that or he's going to be well on his way to getting there, because like, if this isn't the final Vlad, this could be just his ticket to the final Vlad, right? Like, this could be Merman statue. This could be, something along those lines.
It's literally the final
Nope,
Vlad.
It's the final Vlad. Wow.
Glasses is the win con now. That very rarely happens. Is shop glitch allowed then? No, shop glitch, that's a glitch. What are you talking about? I didn't see a glitch happen there. Shop glitch is an actual like underflowing of,
Yeah.
a value in the game versus having two items that happen to increment together. Like that's different. That's more of this was technically an exploit than it is a glitch because everything is working as intended. It's just that you're not meant to do it that way. And as SotN players, we love our exploits. If we weren't allowed to do exploits, you technically wouldn't be allowed to dive kick off of candles after untransforming. And nobody wants that.
And you wouldn't be able to cheese Silver Ring.
Exactly. Like the intended percent speedruns, they technically exist, not on the leaderboard, but they technically exist out there somewhere. ASD's run them before, I'm sure.
Like, my whole thing about SotN is that if we weren't allowed to break this game the way that we are able to break this game, the flaws in this game make this game.
If you weren't allowed to do exploits, you wouldn't be allowed to shield dash, now that I think about it. What
True.
Are you resetting an animation? Banned.
How dare you?
Throw them in the trash. Weecock says, actually, I thought about the rings when making the respawner, so it's technically intended. Dev himself says it's intended.
Dev in chat.
So,
Dev in chat.
Counterpoint, get owned. So here's the real question. No bat, but Durdrak has all the Vlad relics.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going into the catacombs. I guess he's basically just banking on finding the glasses at Spikebreaker, I guess?
Maybe. Where did Renancho pick up that merman statue, though?
Good point. It's going to be somewhere that Durdrak hasn't been. Durdrak hasn't been, I don't think has been to Castle Entrance yet. I don't think Durdrak has been to Alchemy Lab yet. I think those are mostly it.
Maybe one of these days we ought to just queue up an interview with Iga and be like, okay, Symphony of the Night, what was the intended progression?
They already did that. Romscout broke the game in front of him. He said...
Well, no, I know that he did the break the game in front of him thing, but, like, I'm talking more like, okay, what was the actual intended route? Like, what was the intended order of zones and, bosses and that kind of thing?
The best part is he would probably look at you and be like, I don't remember this shit. This was 27 years ago. What the fuck do you want me to say? But he'll say it in a much nicer way.
Yes. Thank you for loving my game. Buy my new ones.
Exactly. I mean, that's pretty much what he said with the ROM Scout thing, which is still insane that happened. Oh, man. If you guys want some, like, old school SotN lore, watching the ROM Scout speedruns in front of Igarashi, holy.
I'm so disappointed that they didn't walk. We worked so hard on that animation.
There's some genuine gems in that from that playthrough. Holy. The idea of bullshit mechanics is a good one, or bullshit physics, I think was the term. Because he was asking about, like, hey, are you, like, this whole dive kicking off of candles and, like, maintaining momentum with transformations, like, was that intended by you guys? Oh, duplicator found.
Oh.
The unholy combo, respawner plus duplicator.
Wear them both. Take all the damage.
But I think his response was something along the lines of, like, we didn't intend for this. Like, we call these, like, we might have known about them in development, but, like, we didn't, like, patch them out. We called these bullshit mechanics or bullshit physics in developing. And I'm just like, man, he's so cool.
From now on, this is the official term.
Oh, yeah. Basically, all of the because SotNisms can also be attributed to bullshit, essentially. That was kind of his blanket statement, but good times. No, the karma coin, you gotta go back. Chat's gonna be mad at you. Uh-oh.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
Chat, it's not my fault. Renan didn't want to pick up the karma coin. If I was in tournament finals, I'm picking up that karma coin. And I'm flipping it.
Meanwhile, Dairdrak headed up into the clock tower here. Still hasn't found those glasses he's been looking for. This is one of those rare occasions where glasses is actually your key to the rest of the seed. It is possible in any randomizer seed that glasses or whatever substitute we have for it is the complexity item. It's just not common.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often at all. But now I'm just starting to think, where haven't they checked? Like Auroch's quarters, I guess? Like Zorlo?
Maybe? Because I swear I saw somebody go to Zorlo, but maybe I'm wrong.
Holy Symbol? Oh, Holy Symbol is an option, yeah, because we haven't seen Renan check it yet, and he's the only one with Merman statue. That would make sense. Yeah, it looks like Durdrak is finally going to be doing entrance plus alchemy lab, so it's probably somewhere in there.
I'm going to bet entrance.
Yeah, probably. Just kidding. Just kidding. It can't be entrance because Renan is going to entrance. So yeah, it's not entrance. So then it's alchemy lab.
Wait, why is it not entrance if Ren is headed to entrance?
I thought I was talking about mermaid statue because I was.
Oh, okay.
Oh, but yeah, no, you were right. Never mind. Then where the hell is mermaid statue? Huh?
It's somewhere where Renantral's been and Terratrak is not.
Durdrak, turn around! No. Me at the back in the back of the car. No, turn around, please. You don't understand. Holy Glass is actually behind you. That's the only thing
Meanwhile,
you
he's
need.
walking away to get ice cream.
No, please. And before Holy Glass is in second castle, if you've been watching me play through all the randomizers, you would be under the assumption that maybe that's a possibility. Turns out, no. I'm just bad at the game. He can't hear us. He has AirPods in. No. But at least he finds Soul Bat. Maybe that might be a motivator to maybe check entrance now. And no, it's
nope.
Which is fair. You know, if you're making the decision, I'm not going to check entrance right now because I don't need to check entrance right now, then it is what it is. But this does spice up the race quite a bit. Because now...
Yeah, because it gives plenty of time to catch up on Vlad's.
Exactly. Like, he just needs to go to Castle Keep right now.
Mm-hmm. Which I think he's headed there.
I mean, he's going to do he's going to do Fire Bat first and then probably do Castle Keep. He has the respawner. He's aware of the exploit to have double silver ring. So... I mean, this could be a reverse GG's, perhaps?
Ooh.
But it also comes down to, like, how many checks total does Durdrak have left? Because that's the other thing is, Renan has had Bat for a while, so maybe his checks have been faster, more efficient, perhaps? But he just doesn't have as many, which doesn't make sense to me, actually, now that I say it out loud.
Were you looking for a second holy symbol, Ren?
Yeah, that could
you
be
only
good.
get one bong.
We be smoking the Holy J sometimes.
Yeah, but you don't break the Holy J. That's rude.
Yeah. Happens to the best of us.
You follow the 2B rule. Don't break it, don't bogart it.
Spike breaker acquired. Now... I mean, you do got to hit it twice. Fair enough.
Definitely got to hit it twice. Double tap. Winners don't use drugs?
Well, they P tested the Olympians, right? Any results? They sell them? Oh, true. I mean, that probably yeah. I could see it. I could see it being, you know. I'm very confused now, actually, because I'm normally when you're 35 minutes into a seed and one person has 5 Vlad relics and the other one has only 3, you're thinking, oh, it's over. The person with 5 clearly is winning. But I'm not so sure about that right now, and that makes me very uncomfortable. Very much so.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those moments like, show me on the model of the brain where this seed touched you.
There's Mermaid Statue. It was behind all rocks. Oh, if he gets baited by that, dude. Oh no, Durdrak might get baited.
Now he's wearing the duplicator because he just got mana prisms.
Oh, snap. Wait a minute. This just got very interesting very fast. He has infinite memorial cards, which honestly, I don't think the memorial cards are going to come up at all in the seed then.
Probably not.
Yeah. Because at this point,
Like
I don't think there's a reason to go check something once you find all the Vlad relics. Oh no! No! Durdrak, no! You're going the wrong way! Oh, he's going back this way because I think he wants to go to... He's either going to warp back to entrance...
He's going to go to caverns.
Or he's going to go to caverns, and if he goes to caverns, I think it might be GG's. Oh, if he goes to caverns, it might be GG's. Oh, he's so close! He's so close! Oh no.
Does he do it?
You've said it's plagued him in the past. just skipping one crucial check that makes the difference. And entrance isn't even like statistics-wise, it's not a bad check. No!
He skipped it.
No!
He went back. He's good. He's merman
getting
baited now.
Oh no! Oh no! And oh no!
He's got the last location, Holy Glasses.
Yeah, and Renan is definitely going to Castle Keep right now. Yep, here he is.
Ding, top floor.
Oh no! Oh no!
Now it's a matter of who can do their check more efficiently.
Yeah, and that's another Vlad, isn't it? Yep. Where's the ring? I don't remember where the ring
is
was.
Upstairs in Ghost Card.
No, I'm sorry, the ring of Vlad.
Oh, I'm sorry. The ring of Vlad is at Holy Glasses.
Then that's GG's right there.
Renantrel does once.
Yep.
And he leaves! Renantrel did not get the second silver ring.
He saved the game, though.
He didn't go back for it.
What is he?
He may not know that the respawner works with the silver ring.
Where is he? What? Have I been hitting the Holy J? What is going on? Oh, he's going to Spike Breaker? Did he not do that earlier?
Why, though?
No. Oh, he's going to Merman because he thinks Merman is Final Vlad. And maybe he's save splitting it?
Yeah, he might be save splitting it, but this means that Der Drac will very likely have the opportunity to say, okay, I've checked every other check in the first castle. I'm going to go to entrance, finally, and get Holy Glasses and GTFO.
Yeah, if he has a lapse, a brain lapse, if you will, and doesn't realize but it's gold ring, so it doesn't matter! Oh, shit! Because he's going to grab that even if he doesn't get the double ring set up.
Oh, my God.
Wait, so it was in logic? I thought, surely gold ring is in second castle, and then, like, they're breaking the logic chain. No,
but
it's in logic for everything to just be in the first castle.
Oh, my God. Like, this is uncanny.
Oh, I thought the first castle preset was unveiling soon, not right now.
Joke's on you. Sacred Lucy works fast.
Oh, he's gonna check Succubus next, and I think it's a 50-50 between Succubus and Castle Entrance right now. Oh, no.
Always skip Succubus! Always skip Succubus!
Oh, no. Ren still has to wait at the clock. That is true. The clock wait time is another 30 seconds added on, but he has the memorial card set up where he's right next to a warp afterwards. And I don't think Der Drac has that set up. I don't even think Der Drac has a memorial card.
I don't think he has a duplicator.
That's insane. Wow. I mean, Renan could have finished this faster by just duplicating the
silver ring, yeah.
But still, I think this is still in Renan's favor because this freaking nightmare cutscene takes 10 years. I'm starting to believe that Succubus should be skipped. Oh, but I can't say no to her. Oh.
You must resist the temptation. We do not give in to lust.
Oh no, it's still a 50-50 between the he hasn't done solo bat yet. He's not going to do entrance. He's committed to skipping entrance at this point. He's quadrupling down. He's septupling down. Oh, the dramatic irony. It hurts. It hurts.
Every single time.
Unless?
Oh.
Wait. He could be going down this way.
He's doing it. He's doing it. He's going to entrance.
No, he might be going to the warp in mines.
He better not be.
It's possible. If he ends his wing smash chain early.
Don't do it. You.
It's not even faster, I don't think. I think it's faster to just, at that point, go through Marble Gallery if you're going to go to the to that location. Oh, he's setting up a save split?
Look at him. He's making me cry. I think this is still in Renanchel's favor.
Yeah.
Renanchel can get down there, get the final Vlad, do the stupid Maria cutscene thing, and get all the way back up to keep before he can do this check.
Yeah. Plus the memorial card, I think will seal the deal.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
he's
he
literally
doesn't even
right
need to
next to a
work.
warp. So
Mhm.
Durdrak is going to need to hack his game to make the wing smash move faster. 1, 2.
We can do that.
Renan is going to need to slip on a banana peel in real life, bonk his head, get one of those big ol' ouchie boo-boos.
I'm gonna have to patch the game.
There's the memorial card instant with the infinite library. I mean, he has infinite mana prisms too. Damn, this felt so in Durdrak's control with the early library cards. The early Vlad card being acquired, but like, look how fast before he can even check the glasses.
Yeah.
Like, the only win con for Durdrak was before doing the alchemy lab checks, doing the holy glasses check. And even then, he probably would have went to second castle with no bat, so then he would have been a little bit slower. But I think it's still a batless progression would have been. Yeah, he's not using a memorial card. He doesn't have one. That already forgot about him. Jeez.
Unmitigated sadness.
Jeez Louise. I mean, it's close regardless. It's a close one.
Yeah.
He's right next to a warp, and like, Duplicator does make things complicated for Renan if he takes damage or drops a wing smash in, like, because which route is he going to take? Is he going to go through Colosseum? Is he going to not?
Kind of have to, don't you?
I mean, it is
No,
the fastest
Castle
route.
Key.
Oh,
You have Castle Key. Teleport.
JK. Asgal is going to have to put in some serious work.
All right, Asgal.
I think with
You got this,
126 HP, it might not be a one-shot, though.
Asgal does 90 something.
At 0 defense or something like that.
Yeah. I know the Guardians also do 90. No, Asgal does 80. My bad.
So he would need to, like, drop a wing smash in this room. Not heal.
Get hit by a Bone Dancer for 50.
Yeah. I mean, Asgal, he's not messing that up. Yeah, there it is. Like, he could walk the rest of the way and still get there first. Dang.
How dare you?
Such a close race, too. Wow. I mean, wow.
Like, Deirdre had a steady hand on the scales of this preset, or this seed, until he just chose not to go to entrance.
And from his perspective, it's a fair assumption. Like, it's probably one of the
so
more...
far out of the way.
Yeah, it feels really far out of the way, especially when you don't have Soul of Bat. It's like a 2 or 3 minute loss. Maybe not 3 minutes, but it's like a 2 minute just to get there. And then if it's something that you need, another 2 minutes back. Like, it's pretty damn slow. Especially with, like, the constantly respawning zombies, stuff of that nature. Saving before Dracula! Bro, that should be a forfeit. What are you... You have double Vorpal Blade, and you're saving before Dracula?
Disqualified.
That should be a DQ for sure.
Bad player.
Oh, man. Now I'm hoping Dracula slaps him around for that. That's just bad juju, man. You just go. I don't know. Even if I was, like, shaking, barely able to hold the controller, so nervous, I'm still not saving before Dracula. What do you mean? You fought this guy hundreds of times. He doesn't do anything. He swings with one hand, super slow. He swings with the other one, super slow. You'll be fine. 32 damage for Shaft. Wait, uh-oh. I mean, he's doing a lot of swings, but, like, 32 damage is not that high. But I think Shaft has a higher damage resistance than
Didn't
Dracula.
you start to pick up Buffalo Stars? Like, I think Buffalo Stars.
Buffalo Stars are better, for sure, yeah. They have a higher, at least 1 star, 1 Vorpal would be ideal, but...
Yeah. Maybe even a Bwaka knife.
Yeah, it's funny, because even if he reloads the save, after dying here, he would still lose. So, like, the save just lost him time for no reason. But, yeah, he shouldn't die here. That was his only chance to take damage. This should be a pretty free 1 cycle. That was also a chance to take damage, and that was honestly pretty close. I'm surprised Dracula's not dead yet.
Only 44 damage per hit.
What? That was still a 1 cycle, but it was way closer than it needed to be. We're not,
Yeah,
like,
there it is.
very unconventional boss fights, but gets the job done.
2-1 in Renanchal's favor, exiting day 1 of Grand Finals for the Tidbit. We will have to come back for day 2 so that we can have these two duke it out again. If Drac wins the next race, he's going to have to go into game 5.
Yeah, exactly. So at some point tomorrow, I mean, starting at 7, but there's going to be at least 1 race, maybe 2. But the winner of this tournament will be decided tomorrow, regardless. Should be a good time. I can't believe how close this race was. Wow.
This was insane. Yeah, we're just letting Dare Drac finish because he deserves
He's
that
a minute
right.
apart, yeah. And, like, he's probably beating himself up not checking Holy Glasses earlier. Yeah, less than a minute apart. In a seed that had such varied routes, like, insanely close. Wow.
Very good race. Extremely good. Let's give it up for our players. GG's to both of them for today, and then we're going to see them again tomorrow.
It's going to be a good time.